After 3 rounds at Sunset Hills, we've got some people who have figured this course out. Catrina Allen is going to try to start her Sunday the way Saturday started. Good putting and great driving. She has jumped out to an 11-stroke lead, courtesy of shots just like this here on the 10th. She's so close to a Pro Tour victory this season, but Paige Pierce has revenge in mind. On number 12, nearly grabbing the ace. 383 feet. Guess what? Hole 18, also 383 feet. Nearly going 2 aces in 1 round. Heather Young brought the putter. She refuses to be on the outside looking in as the Circle 2 putts continue to drop. And Sarah Hokom in the mix last week at Idlewild, still looking for that 2020 Pro Tour victory here at the Ledgestone. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to the final round of the 2020 Ledgestone Insurance Open. Jamie Thomas and Valerie Jenkins here with you on this beautiful Sunday. We are just being informed at this moment that we have just a little bit of a delay for our cards here. The chase card is going to go off at the top of the hour. That'll be 9 o'clock tournament local time. And our lead card will go off at 20 past the hour. I'm going to say good morning to Valerie Jenkins. How's it going, Val?
Good morning. It's going great. You can see the players around the practice basket getting their putts dialed in, because that is what we have seen has been the key to this weekend. And Catrina Allen, something we always question in her game, but today this weekend, she's been looking so confident over her putts. We'll see if that continues on today. She's got a huge lead, Jamie, so it would be detrimental if she lost that. But anything can happen. It's the game of golf.
Certainly there are plenty of memories from the World Championships, which played this very course and ended just not too far away from where these practice baskets are right now. You mentioned Catrina Allen's putting 73% from C1X during moving day. On rounds 2 and 3, she went back-to-back 9 under pars, but Paige Pierce, you can see right here, she's run Catrina Allen down on this course before, and she's going to hope to try to conjure something up today to try to make it happen, but 11 strokes is a large lead to try to cut into with only 18 holes left.
That's for sure. Yesterday would have been the day to do it. She was 3 strokes back of what Catrina shot yesterday, and so not able to make up any ground and continue to let Catrina build upon her lead. So it's going to be a lot of room to improve. And I don't think there's enough trouble out on this course. You know, we saw last weekend at Idlewild, we're in the woods, there's out of bounds, and we can see just players getting into trouble, especially if they're offline. But here, we're in the wide open. We're playing on a golf course. There are some out of bounds for sure, but it's easier to play safe. There's more room for error out here in the wide open. And Catrina Allen said that she felt comfortable. Things are a little bit more comfortable when the fairways are spread out and you have room to adjust, even if your lines are just a bit off.
Heather Young, she's 9 under for the tournament, 12 strokes back of Catrina Allen. She'll look to get the putter going today. In the meantime, let's go out to hole number 1. You're watching Holly Finley. It's her second shot.
And speaking of Idlewild, Holly Finley actually held the lead after round 1. She loves wooded courses, and she shot exceptionally well on that very, very challenging wooded course down in Kentucky.
We know she values accuracy, which is no surprise for a woods player. She likes to shape those lines through the trees. This is Callie McMorrin.
Such a powerful forehand from Callie. It works well on these sloping greens.
Still a bit of a scary putt from that position, though, looking downhill. How about hole number 1? You just start out with such an aggressive slope to the green, one of the most aggressive that you'll find on the course. Just to test your upshot game, see if you're awake early in the morning.
Exactly.
There's your Idlewild Open champion, Ellen Widboom. Like she's just casually strolling, coffee in hand. And then Elaine King, the 5-time world champion. Great card.
And this is one of the earliest rounds that the women will have all year long. It has been a 4-round tournament, and the women starting off early here in the morning. Typically, our structure has been the men tee off, and then the women are our feature at the very end. But it's nice that we get to see the women play their rounds in full, have all the cameras on the course to catch all this action. So throughout the day, we'll be covering the chase card as well as the lead card. And if anybody's shooting hot out there, you better know we're sending a camera out there too.
Opportunities to shoot low on this course for pretty much everybody in the division. I mean, we've talked about 40-plus competitors in FPO, and many of them able to get under par on this course. And we show what they're able to do.
And I think a solid round is around from 4 to 6. I think these players, if they're at the top of their game, this is what they should be shooting. And yesterday, you could tell that 3 rounds in, players are beginning to dial in their rounds. We had 10 players, and I think this went all the way down to 20th place, but we had 10 players that shot 4 under or better. So that is just hot shooting, and this course just lays out so well for this division. A lot of these holes are reachable from the tee, putting the pressure on the putts. Players are able to string together a slew of birdies if they get on a run, and we even know that there's that eagle opportunity on hole 6, and we have seen many eagles out of our distance throwers.
You're looking here at Hailey King and Vanessa Van Dyken, both of them close to making that lead card themselves. Vanessa really played well in the early going yesterday, and round fell apart on her the later stages. Hailey King just put together so many birdies yesterday. Double bogeys gave a lot of it back, but lighting up the courses. I mean, she had 4 pars on the scorecard in round 3. Now Widboom, low side of the green. Tricky footing down there.
And there's a pond just past the trees. So any roll could go into the water. More than likely, we've seen the bushes and the trees catching discs before they do. So there is that trouble, but thankfully there's enough protection from the out of bounds line.
McMorrin quickly lays up. Widboom laid out, nearly cashed that one, but not quite enough on it. Here's Finley looking for a birdie to get her round going.
Holly has put in so much time around the practice basket, and she has such a unique form. Oh, as I talk about it, of course, I jinx the putt there for Holly. Otherwise, she is just lethal with her putter and with such force. I mean, even that putt nearly knocked the basket over.
You don't see a lot of low misses from Holly Finley. Usually the miss is high with the way she likes to putt.
Exactly.
Again, you have to emphasize the point. Catrina Allen's putting has been phenomenal this week. Not just good, not just adequate. It has been full of highlight reel putts.
And we're coming back to this course that showcased the final round of the Worlds last year. The battle was on between Paige and Catrina going into that final round. Catrina, at first, she had such strong momentum. Everything was shifting in her favor. And then it was putting that kind of fell to the side. And all of a sudden, Paige turned it on. So this looks like it could be that chance for comeback revenge for Catrina.
Going to go live to hole number 1. Your chase card. Here is Hailey King. Look at the aggressive play up the right side of the fairway. Going to keep it nice and close to that left side tree line, which does play as out of bounds. It eventually does break away towards the water. Now you're seeing Valerie Mandujano. Plays out of Texas, San Antonio area. Playing it a little wider. Lisa Fajkus. Nearby in Round Rock.
Lisa has been putting together great rounds on this course. Seems the back 9 is kind of slowing her up a bit, but she is on fire in the front. She can get a few more birdies in the middle of the course. She could end up bouncing up that leaderboard today.
And Vanessa Van Dyken.
As you mentioned, tale of 2 9s. Vanessa shot 5 under in the front 9 and then managed to shoot 5 over in the back 9. So if she can clean up those bogey strokes at the end of her round today, she should be shooting a really solid round as we've seen in the previous 2.
We noticed yesterday the putting style of Vanessa Van Dyken. Just very calm, collected, very poised over the putter from putts lengths of, 15 to 50 feet.
Yeah, how many people do you see that it looks so meditative standing over a pressure putt?
She'll have some of those putts to make today as well. And we're going to say good morning to Terry Miller.
Hello everyone and good morning. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, checking in with you from the beautiful Sunset Hills. It is just that, it's beautiful out here today as well. We're going to talk a little bit about the temperature. The temps are in the low 70s right now, and maybe what's most exciting about that is they're going to remain somewhere in the 70s through the duration of this entire round. So we're getting a little bit of a light reprieve. I know we've seen highs in the high 80s over the last few days. Today, at least for the morning round, it's going to be a little bit cooler out here. Also feeling a very gentle breeze at this very moment. I think that's going to keep up through the entire round as well. Now, for all of our viewers at home, for everybody watching, pay attention to who's throwing out there because it's going to be a little difficult. We've got 3 blue shirts plus Vanessa Van Dyken's. Yes, it was somewhat of a specific effort that was put together by the Innova women's team. We saw them wearing matching shirts or similar shirts a couple days ago. They're doing the same today. Lisa Fajkus confirmed blue shirts for the Innova women out here, and Hailey from Discraft wearing her own Hailstorm shirt as well. So if there's a little confusion out there, we're going to do our best, but we want you to know there's a bunch of blue shirts going on out there today. This is the chase card. We've got pushed back just a few moments, so we're going to be able to bring you a little extra golf action as the day rolls on. I think, of course, you got to wonder if Catrina Allen is going to be able to keep the momentum she's been carrying from the last few days. We're excited to see some great golf. Any women on the chase card, though, are going to have to play incredibly well if they want to catch anyone on this lead card who will be teeing off in about 15 minutes. That's what we're seeing here on the ground at Sunset Hills. Again, beautiful day. Looking forward to some great golf. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Terry. It's always great to hear from him in the morning. And Does look like a beautiful day out there at Sunset Hills. Kind of jealous right now.
And that was a beautiful shot from Valerie Mandujano. She birdied this hole yesterday and looks like she'll have another opportunity to do that today.
Van Dyken's second throw.
We were mentioning meditative, very calm over her putt. She has a very methodical drive as well. As you can see, she steps up. She has her routine. She sticks to it every single time.
Got a little bit speedy with that shot right there. Just going to get a mark from a spotter. It doesn't necessarily mean out of bounds. That's just letting the players know where they've gone to help them find it quicker. Interesting way Hailey likes to play this hole here. Doesn't play wide. She plays to the near side so she can play the forehand in.
Yeah, playing along the slope and using that sidearm to kind of cut back and hit the hill rather than slide down the slope toward the out of bounds. But it's a scary tee shot for her. She's landing very close to the out of bounds on that left-hand side, which is the woods. It's not that cart path that we see in our frame.
We are 14 minutes away from the lead card. Beautiful conditions out in Pekin, Illinois. Not too much wind to speak of. Very scoreable, kind of the way we've seen it play out all throughout the week. It's really been about what can the players do to execute their game plan more than the course so much dictating what shots need to be thrown, and that's allowed a lot of different scores to be added up a lot of different ways.
That is for sure. So Catrina Allen, her round one score was 3 under, and that was leading the tournament. I think players started off a little bit slow. Catrina followed it up with round 2 and round 3 at 9 under par, but found those scores in different ways, as you're mentioning. Round 2, she looked completely unstoppable, shooting a 9 down for 9, starting with an eagle on hole 6. It all came to a halt on hole 15 when she unfortunately hit a branch, went out of bounds, ended up taking a double bogey, and then parred out. So that round could have been even more under par if it weren't for that double bogey. So there is that potential. Even Hailey King yesterday, she was on fire, had those double bogeys as we mentioned. So there's an 11 under out there on the course. We'll see if anybody can take it. That would mean if Catrina Allen shot an even, somebody like a Paige Pierce sitting there in second could catch up. But at this point, very unlikely.
Yeah, Catrina really just has to come out and play measured golf. There's no onus to really push the pace. Here's Lisa Fajkus. She's got her birdie going.
It's a great start to birdie hole 1. And it really all comes down to how close your upshot is to the basket. Because a lot of these putts can be very scary if you're looking at the out of bounds. But Valerie's in a good spot, even with the basket on that side slope.
It's a quality putt right there to begin your day. Hailey King putting just back at it for her birdie. Looks like 3 birdies and a par from our chase card there. Off to a good start. Catrina Allen, she's leading the list of the largest margins of victory on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. 16 strokes at the Green Mountain Championship in 2016. There's been a lot of Paige Pierce on this list, but she finds herself on the wrong side of that deficit today. She starts 11 back of Catrina.
So it looks like Catrina could be putting her name on this list again if she manages to continue on with that 11-stroke lead she has today, or even if she gives up a stroke, she'll still be on this list. And that just shows when one player has such momentum, you can continue to build on that lead. And capitalizing on all these birdies, that really makes those score differentials on any given hole.
Well, her game plan has been good through rounds 2 and 3. We wondered if she was going to change her game plan given the lead she's gained for round 4. So we asked her yesterday.
I think there'll be decisions I need to make, but I think, you know, those thoughts even crept in today, and I was like, it's a 4-round tournament, and I think I'll just play my game in one shot, and then I'm really being good about just listening to myself and how I'm feeling on each shot. And you know, I tell myself if I'm feeling awkward, lay it up, and if I'm not, then just go for it and accept the result. So, but yeah, I think there'll come a time tomorrow where I have to make some decisions, but I'll think about that when we get there.
Good morning, everybody. And that's such an interesting soundbite there from Catrina Allen, where just listening on every shot and going with what feels right in the moment.
Yeah, and I think that's what players should do on any given course, no matter what. If you feel confident, go for it, and you're going to have to deal with the results as they come. If you don't feel confident, all you have in your mind is doubt. So it's hard to get over that, especially if you're standing over a scary death putt. So I think Catrina has a very calm and a very solid game plan that it sounds like she'll be sticking to today. Could result in some layups, which she might end up giving strokes back to the field, but we'll see how that all shakes out. We know that she is on point with her drivers, so there's a lot of options for her just to park the basket and drop it in. You know, she might not have that many of choices.
It's going to be interesting to see if Paige Pierce or Sarah Hokom or even Heather Young can start to put pressure on Catrina early on, see what she does with these decisions. If she has to, say, the first few holes, lay up, take the par, not run the birdie, how do you keep that from creeping in, saying, oh, they're getting a little closer and a little closer? Because, you know, you still have to eventually put the pedal to the metal and win the tournament at some point and have to make the statement.
Yeah, I think with any lead that you have, I think it's easier to go full out like you have been doing to get up to that point than to maintain. And that's what that would be doing. If you're just laying up under the basket and you're just trying to keep that lead, you're going to eventually start to fall behind. And now you're not feeling as confident. Now you're feeling, I got to make those strokes back somehow. And so, yeah, there is that weird kind of thing in your mind that you can put a little bit more pressure on yourself if you don't just stick to what got you in that position to lead the tournament in the first place.
Val's keys, don't let up. Go all the way till the final whistle blows.
Yep.
And the final putt is tapped in this afternoon at Sunset Hills. Catrina Allen's lead is 11. Heather Young, Sarah Hokom behind. Hailey King's one down through one. She's going to try to start to make a charge early. Lead card teeing off in about 7 minutes. We're going to take a quick commercial break and get in position to start calling the final round of the Ledgestone Insurance Open when we come back.
Hey guys, Adam Hammis here. Today I'm going to tell you about my 2020 Tour Series disc, the Wasp. The Wasp is an overstable, beaded mid-range, and what I love about it is how hard I can throw it and know that it's always going to finish left. The shots I typically throw with this disc are soft flex shots, power flat to hyzer shots, and once in a while I'll throw like a little spike hyzer with it. Be sure to pick one up at discraft.com or your local disc golf shop.
Disc golf is a relatively young sport, but its popularity makes it one of the fastest growing pastimes in the world. The PDGA is a not-for-profit, worldwide player organization dedicated to promoting the sport. Like a long drive off the tee, disc golf is soaring. So don't just be a witness to disc golf's explosive growth, be a part of it. Join the PDGA.
When you order from Dynamic Discs, we do our best from start to finish. First, we receive your order from the website and print out the packing slip detailing the specific items you selected. Then, your order is pulled directly from the shelves, packed in a cardboard box to prevent vending during transit, and quickly on its way to you with free shipping. For every purchase online with Dynamic Discs, you'll receive rewards points so you can save on your next order. We'll work with you to make sure you get the exact disc you're looking for. For anything from Dynamic Discs, Latitude 64, or Westside Discs, head to dynamicdiscs.com.
I'm Paul Macbeth, and today I'll be talking to you about my 2020 Tour Series disc, the Luna. The Luna is made for everyone. It was the first disc in my lineup because of that fact. It's extremely easy to throw, it's got a tremendous amount of glide. I would use the Luna for all types of shots and distance. It's my putting putter, but I think the Tour Series is mainly going to be for up shots and drives. If you'd like to try the Luna for yourself, you can find it at discraft.com or your local disc golf retailer.
My name is Thomas Ekström. I'm the disc designer for Latitude 64. This is the Keystone. I wanted to design a disc that had minimum fade when putting. I wanted it to be slightly understable for those nose-up approach shots. I'm super proud of the Keystone. It went straight into my own bag, and you should try it as well.
Welcome back, everybody. We're just about 2 minutes away from the lead card. Catrina Allen's 11-stroke lead has been brought about by some splendid putting throughout the first 3 rounds. Circle 1X has been a problem for Catrina in the past, but she has just been ranging tester putt after tester putt. Even from Circle 2, there's the eagle on number 6 from the Friday round. This was yesterday morning to start at hole 1. And what do you notice here, Val? It doesn't matter. Uphill, downhill, flat putts, hyzer putts. It just seems to work for her this weekend.
Yeah, and you can see she's got that hyzer putt on lock.
Catrina was talking about her putting percentages this weekend after her round yesterday.
I think, well, I don't remember what night it was, but it wasn't a lack of confidence lately, but I felt, even though me and Austin were kind of going back and forth, he's like, it's in your head. I'm like, it's not. I feel great. And so what we did is I went through like old videos of me putting amazing, and I just like took the videos and put them all together, and then went out and putted and watched some older video, and I was like, oh, it was just really little simple things that I wasn't doing, and just kind of feel like that built some confidence. I was going to wait to say anything, but Natalie Holocoy is pretty much my coach now for the mental game and stuff, and so we got a mental game plan, which is a new thing for me, and so I'm working at just how I work my game and my you know, how I work out and do all that stuff. So.
Golf is certainly a game played between the ears. So Catrina taking advantage of all of the opportunities to improve that side of things too. And now she will take the tee for the final round.
Great positioning there on the right-hand side of the fairway.
2019 Ledgestone champion, Paige Pierce.
Paige is going to have to come out firing starting right now. 18 holes, 11 strokes. One thing on her mind.
We saw that Paige try to fire back at Ledgestone, and that caused her to have some errors, forcing things to happen. This is really the second time that we've seen Paige try and fight back. Since the restart, she's been absolutely dominant.
Yeah, last week at Idlewild didn't even make the lead card. It's not a common thing in FPO these days to have a lead card without Paige Pierce, and you know what? It's becoming less common to have one without Heather Young. It's been a pleasure to watch since the restart. Here goes the lefty. That's her best drive on this hole for the weekend.
2012 Ledgestone Insurance Open champion, Sarah Hokom.
Can you imagine, I mean, how many years have Kat, Paige, and Sarah been playing in rounds together? These women would compete against each other every round for every weekend. Now we're seeing new names come up, but definitely a lot of experience playing together. Heather Young, fortunate enough to join this elite group.
Right, the only player on this card without a world championship of her own. And Val, I seem to remember there were some days when you would have been the fourth player on the card with these three ladies.
Yeah, those are the good old days.
Speaking of Heather Young, we've talked to her about what it's been like to play out here at the Ledgestone and what the game plan she's going to have for the final round is.
Does it feel like after 3 rounds you've got everything worked out, maybe anywhere you do or don't want to be on the course, and you're just going to manage it the best?
Yeah, quit getting bogeys on hole 1. Other than that, I feel like I'm figuring most of the course out where you don't want to be, but that hole is getting me.
Okay,
so
well,
I'm
that's
coming
good.
for it tomorrow.
I was just going to say, that's going to start your final round. You're going to be on the lead card. Everybody's going to be watching. Tens of thousands of people.
Wow, you make it sound intimidating.
Not at all. But I want to know right out of the gate, how do you attack hole 1? How do you not take the bogey?
I keep hitting either too high or too far left, and I keep pinching myself off. So I think I just need to stay further right and just lay up for the par instead of trying to go for the birdie.
Moment of truth right now. Heather Young predicting she's going to lay up and just take the par. She has bogeyed it at least 2 out of the 3 days. In fact, it's been all 3 days.
Set the small goals, and if you accomplish them, you're going into this final round feeling very confident. But look at where her drive is. She's pinched herself off again, and with a lefty backhand, doesn't have a lot of room to let this fly out.
Well, if the par is the play, this is still very much a possibility. It's right there in the vicinity of circle 2.
We've seen Sarah throwing this backhand shot for her second. Says she's just putting a little bit more confidence behind this throw and using it as much as she can to get a little bit more comfortable with it. And that was great speed from her. She's going to be on the side hill And as we pan over, there's the basket there.
Again, still scary. If you get out to the right side of this first fairway, it's just harder and harder to feather it into the green properly. Good drives by Catrina all 4 days so far. She's birdied at the last 2 rounds. Let's see if she can do it again.
Standstill putter approach. Not going to get a huge skip, and that looked like it nestled right underneath the basket. And this shot is blind, especially where Catrina landed. You can't see where you're coming into the basket from. You can't see the slope that you're landing on. Paige has a little bit more of a visual from here. Coming in hot, coming in high.
Well, for the first time this weekend, she's not back in the far corner. She's actually left herself more of a makeable putt than previously. Heather may have gotten hung up a little earlier than we thought. I thought there was going to be a bit of a slide up towards the ridge line there. This is her secret weapon right here, the lefty sidearm approach.
So she really has to get the height perfectly dialed on this one to carry the hill.
That's going to be a tough look for par. Hole 1 sure does have her number. Let's go ahead to hole number 2. This was a few moments ago. Lisa Fajkus looking for a birdie.
Wow, that was huge. At circle's edge and not jumping to follow through. Nice power behind that massive putt. 2 for 2 for Lisa to start the round.
Starting out at a good pace. She's 7 down for the event currently.
That's awesome to see, you know, on a hole like we'll see coming up here on hole 2. It's a hole that she should be parking. But if you don't park it, you're relying on that putt. And I think that's a good putt to be relying on for Lisa.
Very consistent. Hokom thinking about this one.
You can hear the wind is picking up today, almost 10 miles an hour. So this could make the players think a little bit harder before going for death putts. And that looked like a semi-run, but she'll be safely underneath the basket.
Yeah, if it was a layup, she certainly thought about it for a moment. Wonder if we'll see this wind start to affect play at all. We really haven't seen much wind affecting the shots.
Exactly. It's just been all about the golf. Can you hit the line? You don't even have to worry about any of the elements. But today, it's fun to see. Mother Earth must know that it's a final round here at Ledgestone. Just making it a little bit more exciting for us. At least giving us something else to talk about.
Seems like it always turns out that way. There's always some kind of wrinkle or special little thing about the final rounds. All right, Heather Young did not want to start with a bogey. She's got to make this. Mission accomplished.
Check. I think she's going to be happy with that. And, I mean, it is a hole you should be getting a par on regardless. So, nice to see Heather accomplishing step 1 on hole 1.
Yeah, that second shot was not what she wanted either, so she put the goal in danger with the second shot of the day, but good recovery to get up and down. Pierce for birdie. Doing what she needs to do on the first hole. Feels nice to get your chores done. Now you can start having some fun.
Sarah taking a knee to get on the same level as the chains, especially with her high and kind of nose down putting style. I think that's a good move. And we just are going to see a drop in here.
This is the closest Catrina's been for the birdie look all weekend. Saving the best for the final day. 22 under par for Catrina Allen.
Not losing any strokes to the field yet. Hole 1 is in the books.
This is what Catrina has done stats-wise throughout the first 3 rounds. You mentioned earlier 3, then a pair of 9s. Circle 1X putting getting better yesterday. And Circle 2 putting has been really good too. We've seen her just make some long ones, whether there's been danger behind, OB sand traps, rollaway hills. It really hasn't seemed to affect her plan. She's just kind of stayed on pace.
Yeah, exactly. And that round 2, you can see how much it's swaying on the side of putting. I mean, she did an exceptional job capitalizing on putts. She'd step up to those Circle 2 putts, and she said, I just felt confident, so I thought I'd send them. And they kept going right in the center chains, and amazing to see. Those are the highlight reel putts that we love to watch.
Hole number 2. Another very gettable hole here, just measuring out right over 300 feet.
Yep, and sitting middle of the pack, I think this hole should be a gotta-get birdie for the division. It's well in the distance that all the players can reach. We're going to see the backhand throwers choosing the right-hand side of the gap and letting the disc do the work as it fades back to the basket. Heather Young is going to have the OB cart path on the left-hand side to deal with as she hyzers in from left to right. The green is set up here on this hillside, so we do have the sloping green behind, making those putts a little challenging. Saw Lisa Fajkus cashing that huge putt on this hole to birdie. So we'll see if the players can follow suit, but I expect everybody to be inside the circle. This is that chance to just dial in those drives.
Good test of how well you're dialing the number early. Here's Catrina on the tee.
Catrina has a mid-range in her hand. Could be one of those hybrid mid-range drivers, but it goes the exact distance that she needs.
Yeah, whatever disc it is, she puts it to about 12 feet right there. Stepped up, took a deep breath, and parked it.
Paige has overthrown this hole the last 3 rounds we've watched her play. We know she has the power, but she really needs to dial back the distance on this hole. Could risk going out of bounds long if she doesn't.
It's a little inside.
And that's out of bounds on the left-hand side. That is a stroke she did not need to give up.
Yeah, crucial mistake there, especially with Catrina essentially parked.
Here's a chance for Heather Young to get a stroke on, or possibly 2 strokes on Paige. This could tie them up if she's able to park it. Even if she doesn't, those circle 2 putts are right in her wheelhouse. This has got to hyzer.
Oh, and it does.
Oh my gosh. A lot of ground play on that one. From skip to skip over the cart path to roll back into bounds.
Fancy footwork by our camera operator there, too. Hokom, she's thinking about this left to right. Oh, that's got to get hyzer quickly. Oh, the tree out of bounds gonna keep her from having a chance to come back in while they find the mark for Hokom. Let's go ahead to 4. It's Vanessa Van Dyken. This is downhill. It's got a swing hyzer. Just a right there. Circle's edge for Vanessa.
Such a fun drive to dial in. You can see the tee pad is elevated, and as we crush the shot out there, it's just over 300 feet, so it is reachable. But you just got to dial in that line in the sky.
Hailey's got a good line here. Just beats the inside of that bush right there. She will be inside circle 1.
Anybody else have an opinion?
I honestly couldn't give you a spot, and I would just be giving a spot.
So maybe in the middle of what you and I think? Somewhere here?
I mean, Heather, what did you say?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sorry.
Majority of the card has decided this will be the mark for Hokom.
And we know that she hit that tree that we can see on the left-hand side of the frame. So I do believe this is a pretty accurate mark for her 3rd.
Inside circle. That'll be a bogey look.
Wouldn't have thought this hole would be hanging these players up so much. But definitely that cart path is coming into play, both for a sidearm thrower and a righty backhand. And we're seeing Paige's disc there, center of the screen. It's a matter of 5 inches maybe.
Well, she did dial the distance in a little better. She's not 40 long this time. Much closer to pin high. Just missed that line inside. Brought that cart path into play. Either way, the leader looking as such so far this round. How fortunate Heather Young was just enough to get back inbounds here, and she's been a deadly circle 2 putter this weekend. Speed to get to 10 down.
Stepping off a few times. Can I get that focus back in?
Didn't quite take the elevation into account there. Ran underneath the pin. She doesn't even really jump on her longer looks.
No, she does have a little jump from way outside, maybe 80. But yeah, otherwise stands still and has so much power to save par.
Paige has been working all weekend to get those putts online. It's good to see one drop right there.
We can see hitting the chains nice and flat. Yesterday, she just wasn't extending enough to allow that power to build up and that spin. Kept leaving them on the left-hand side, missing more putts than we typically see. Sarah Hokom's got a tester for her bogey. Oh, wow. It's a big score swing here on hole 2 for Sarah Hokom.
Yeah, double bogey is hard to swallow on the second. This is not a hole that usually coughs up the big number. Especially when Catrina gets a deuce. 2 birdies in 2 holes. Catrina's picked up right where she left off in the other 3 rounds.
Heather Young, that's par for her to start.
Let's go back to 4. Sarah Hokom, this will just be a drop in. Here's Hailey King just to get the birdie here. We saw a great drive from her. Drops it in. Lisa Fajkus appreciates it.
We're going to see so much movement and so early in the round too. Wow, UDIS just updated and I feel like that was a complete switch up. So today is going to be that day we're going to see players on the chase card or lead on the third card hunting for that lead card.
Yeah, on a course like this, you can still make that move like you're saying, get some Pro Tour points, get a nice payday. Fajkus is going to earn it with that birdie. Now on 3. Here's Catrina. One of the early dangerous holes on this course. She's had a good game plan, though.
And as we can see, there's that danger. We've got 3 sand traps surrounding the basket. Paige has found herself in trouble on this hole the last 3 rounds.
Yeah, this is the hole that's had Paige Pierce's number. And once again, her game plan has been to throw it into the hillside, but she just keeps putting Paige Pierce levels of power, and it slides up the hill into the sand.
Wow. Paige is 5 over on this hole alone. Double bogey first round, double bogey the second round, single bogey in the third round. And she's going to have to make that putt to save par.
That's
for
how
today's round.
That's how she double bogeyed it on the round 1, trying to save par. Heather shot perfectly down short of the bunkers inside circle 2. Yeah, this says layup all over it. Look at that green.
There's no out of bounds or anything on the left-hand side, so players can play this as wide as they want. It helps to get it as close to the sand traps, but that's what happens. Fast skip and an out of bounds stroke.
Let's take a look at the whole flyover right here. As you're saying, not a lot of danger to the left. Just the more aggressive you get, the more you bring that danger into play.
Absolutely. And I always liked playing off to the left-hand side, getting as much distance as possible to get down there, But it all comes down to that approach. We can see the sand traps coming into play on this sloped green. An aggressive putt could send you out of bounds. This shorter sand trap is, 5 feet? The one behind is just 4 feet away. And then we do have the cart path on the far right side. So if players go past, they could go rolling down the hill and out of bounds. Another thing that we've seen out of Paige Pierce on this specific hole.
Yeah, she could draw the map of the OB from memory on this hole because she's been terrorized with finding all of it during this round. During this tournament. It's funny.
Lisa Fajkus, 3 down, moving 2 spots up so far. 3 down for 4 holes. Lisa's making an early move.
Same way she started yesterday, just started out hot. Really has figured out the front 9 on this course.
I have no doubt this is part of the game plan of laying up. That is pretty close to the out of bounds behind, and wow. Just like that, an easy layup turns out of bounds.
Yeah, Catrina's going to give a free one back to her card mates.
It's just that one extra spin of the disc could send it out of bounds.
It's the danger when you find kind of that area that both Catrina and Heather were. You saw one successful layup from there and one unsuccessful one. Much smaller green than the wide side.
Where are you going from? I didn't see your shot. Farther? Yeah. Maybe mine's a little left.
It's an all or nothing putt from Paige right here. This is essentially going to be a 3 or a 5 on this hole.
Oh, Paige's putt is looking good. Last 2 holes, throw out of bounds off the tee, save it with a massive putt. Oh my goodness.
It really has been the difference in today and the previous days that we've seen is she still threw out of bounds a bunch of times in the previous round. She just wasn't making the comebackers.
Move it back even further.
Sarah Hokom using the rule book to her advantage here. Going further back on the line of play, that is, between her OB mark and the basket.
And the advantage here, she's at the circle, so she's able to jump. That'll be a drop-in bogey for Sarah. Doing the non-contact help out.
Yeah, I mean, this was intended to be a layup for Catrina. She'll give one back, but honestly, with the 2 birdies to start out and the 11 strokes before she even took the course, shouldn't be too much of a concern. Let's look ahead to hole number 5. Valerie Mandujano putting for birdie. Staring straight at the water. Just outside the circle. That's a good birdie putt. She's 2 down. Lots of players able to get under par on this course. We're going to continue to see some great putts as we scroll down the udisclive.com leaderboard. Make sure you're following along all morning and all afternoon, so you know what your favorite pros are doing. Before we get up to hole 5, we have to play number 4.
Is that how it goes?
I learned this reading the rule book, actually. Got to play the course in order. How about that?
Can't just write down the birdie and move on. Here we go. Hole 4. It's a par 3, 345 feet. It's all downhill and over water. Got the water's edge at 38 feet. We expect the players to be hitting that hillside on a backhand hyzer, and that hillside will slow them up and hopefully skip to the basket. We've got an OB green, and we've got a sand trap on the right-hand side, so any shots that are left too wide could bring that into play, as well as that bush that's just to the right of the basket can make putts extremely difficult.
Paige just going to spike this one in here. Nearly dropping it in right on the basket. She had the distance dialed perfectly. Lefty's going to go to the forehand. Skipped it across the water on that Friday round. That was a sight to see.
It's a tricky line. She's actually been throwing it pretty low off the tee, so it does bring that water into play. I'd love to see a little bit more air underneath the disc today. And as long as she has the distance, it should work its way back to the basket.
She's had that putt pretty much every day, right at circle's edge. No real danger of the water today. Here's Catrina.
So we saw Paige go high hyzer. It is because of those trees that are coming into the frame on the left-hand side. So you're either going high or you're going low and underneath the branches.
Ooh!
Catrina Allen nearly cashing it in the basket. Never had a big tournament ace, she says. And what a weekend to try and do it. What an amazing feeling.
I mean, just dropping it right on the basket.
Sarah Hokom with the backhand.
Is that enough? Is it wedged down into the embankment down there?
It's penetrating the mud, the vertical plane. This isn't one of the holes that has the painted. No, it's not painted.
We'll have to see what's going to happen down there with Hokom's shot, but we know what happened with Catrina's shot. Let's roll this back one more time on the Zuka replay. We'll get it. Here it is. Catrina Allen, hole 4. You called the spike shot.
Big hyzer shot. Wow, and it hits right hand side. I think it might have sliced through the chains. Catrina, hands to the face. Could not believe it.
Great shot there by Catrina. Fantastic. Doing everything that she needs to do right now. It's all going according to plan. Hokom is, I'm going to imagine this is a provisional. At least throw it before you walk around and then see if you can get the call on the other side.
Exactly. This is a huge time saver if it does happen to be out of bounds on the green side. Sarah just getting this shot over with.
She's right up there. by the basket. Reading through the caddy book right now. I see sand traps and golf green OB. Over cart path is OB. No specific word on the pond itself on this caddy book, so it'll come down to a group call here. And not just the life of a tournament director. You try to check all the boxes, dot all the I's, cross all the T's, and somehow, some way, players are going to throw it into a spot where there's going to have to be some discussion, no matter what you do, almost.
We've seen it in the women's round and in the men's rounds. Some rules calls being just so close. And it all comes down to majority rules. So we'll listen in and hear what this group is going to call for Sarah's shot.
Wow. What did you just say, Sarah? If it breaks the vertical plane of inbounds, then it's in. Even if it's underneath it? Yeah, because that's still vertical. Okay. At least that's my understanding of the rules.
Okay, this is all underwater.
Who knows nowadays?
I would say this side is what she should do.
If that's the verbiage of the rule, then I would say you're safe, but I don't know that. So it's just like
I wish I could like be on this side of the wall.
Yeah. It's not inbounds because it doesn't break the vertical plane, but if it like kind of skipped off the wall and went back, you'd break the plane, and you're still, at least you get to take it up there, even if it's in the water.
I mean, yeah.
Really close. Do you guys want to, I mean, I can pull that thing out, right? Because the inbounds would be right here. I would say the left edge of the disc is what I'm thinking is like, because if my disc was right here, it would definitely be inbounds. So even if if you look at where the disc actually is, it's touching here in the mud.
I think my only question is it?
I can just play it out as if
From this angle.
I mean, it's definitely into that mud that's inbounds.
Check the professional on the other side.
You could take a double provisional as well.
Because it's definitely sitting up on that mud right there.
Yeah.
In here.
Yeah, I would say the
Yeah,
left side.
you're good.
I
Say you're
I'm good with that. Alright.
But Heather right now. Yeah.
I'm outside the circle though.
Sounds like
Yeah, so
they
it'll
have
be
come
you.
to a consensus. No need to worry about the provisional. Sounds like they're going to give her the safe call. Val, you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think they thought about that a little bit too much. If she's stuck in the mud, she's crossing the out of bounds line. And I think that's what Sarah was hinting at. It's crossing the vertical plane. But yeah, if her disc were landing on the grass and half in the water, it'd be a little easier to call. But that was lodged in the side. I think they made the right call.
Sounds like some more clarification in the caddy book coming for the 2021 event. Here's Hokom. Birdie, just a bit short.
We've got Heather Young lining up. As you mentioned, she's had similar putts to this in the previous rounds. This one might be the closest one she's had yet.
Another slightly uphill putt here. left a couple of them short today.
You can see she's testing the wind before she's going to putt. So she is thinking a little bit more about what the wind is doing. Paige on the good side of the bush. See if she was behind that. Be almost head high.
She's got another birdie on the day. 2 down. But Catrina also 2 down. Nearly 3 down. Almost grabbing an ace during this final round right now. And there was a lot of excitement over there on hole number 4. And the main man himself, Terry Miller, was nearby to catch all of the action up close and personal. Let's see what Terry has to say.
Hey everyone, Terry Miller checking in on hole 4. Well, my heart is racing, actually. There's a lot to unpack of what just happened. So, of course, let's start with the Catrina Allen throw. It was difficult to see from the tee. There was actually some confusion as to whether or not it stayed in for the ace. The one thing that really jumped out at me when she sat down and kind of put her hands in her face was she said she's never had a big tournament ace. And so close here today. Of course, she was fortunate enough to stay right there for the drop-in birdie. Of course, then you saw Sarah Hokom playing the provisional, and then they had a very healthy discussion down here as to whether or not she was in bounds because she was touching the mud. When it went back and forth a few different times and from a few different angles, the group ultimately decided that she was in bounds and that she got to play from here. So when it was all said and done, that's going to save her the single stroke. And I can't say it enough. There's another great example of the provisional rule. If you're uncertain of a decision that's being made or a lie or anything like that regarding the rules, play it out both ways. Make sure you call it ahead of time. Play it out both ways, and then if you can't decide it within the group, then it ultimately gets brought back to a course director or a tournament director. They were able to take care of it all here. The other thing I want to quickly touch on, Paige Pierce, of course, we know that one of her biggest challenges is going out of bounds. She's proved that on holes 2 and 3, but on both of those, she makes up for it and manages to save the par for each of those. So it shows you a little bit where her mental toughness is right now. As we walk down the fairway of 3, she's like, I just don't get it. She goes, I did that exact same thing during the first round. And then yesterday, she changed up her game plan. She still found an OB. And then today, she found the OB where she was. So hole 3 definitely got her. I think she went OB all 4 rounds there. Let's see if she can keep her OBs in check. And let's see if she can continue to try and chase down Catrina Allen, who seems to be having a pretty good week right now. Maybe we got another ace run in store. Back to you guys.
Paige dodging the OB on the left side of this hole, number 5. This can be very dangerous if you hyzer out early.
So imagine if they would have called provisional on Sarah's lie. What do you go back to the tournament director with? You know, I think at that moment when you don't know if the disc is out of bounds or not, I think that's the time when players should make the call. So I'm glad they were able to make that decision.
Came to the group consensus. Catrina Allen's on the dance floor of 5. Well, Heather managed to avoid that bogey on the first, but she hasn't picked up any of the birdies that she's picked up on the following holes. Let's see if she can get something going here.
Could be another interesting pond OB call.
Yeah, that one, hard to see where that one finished. That's going to be close.
Sarah Hokom, 3 over for the round today. Gonna need some birdies to erase those bogey strokes, and that is a park job from Sarah. Nicely done.
We're going to take a quick commercial break while they take a walk around yet another one of the ponds out here at Sunset Hills. We'll meet them on the green when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday morning. I know we are watching some disc golf, some high-level disc golf at that. Paige Pierce and Catrina Allen separating a little bit from the field. Lisa Fajkus making a charge from the chase card. Emily Beach and Hailey King also making their way into the top 10 on the front nine. Here's another call.
I thought it hit right there, but... Alright, probably be me then. I'm like circle's edge. I think me and you and then... Okay. Oh, I think
Once again, we'll go to the caddy book. It just says Water OB. That's the rule set that they're going to be playing with here. Looks like they're going to give Heather a mark, but first Paige Pierce. Just inside the circle here. That one hung on the left side.
Did you see that balance? Oh my goodness. She gave it everything she had. Looked like she was going to fall forward, but is able to catch her balance, fall back on her back foot. But man, incredible strength from her lower body.
Catrina's about a pace closer than Paige was. She's got a birdie. That was the first real tester putt that she's had all day. She passes. So they are going to give Heather Young this mark, saying she did hit the green before bouncing back into the water, so this will be to save par.
If they didn't make the call that she hit the land, she would be taking it from another 100 feet back, 100 feet short. So she does have the opportunity with this lie to save her par. That makes the connection.
She hasn't been able to get the birdie putts to drop, but the par ones are going in.
Sure are. CTP goes to Sarah Hokom. That's 3 birdies on the scorecard and a par from Heather Young.
There's a whole bunch of scoring that can be done on the very next hole. The par 5 6th. Catrina Allen took well advantage of this. Look at this second shot here. This is on Thursday. She plays to the left side. You can see the bank over there comes in much quicker. She actually got a little bit closer than that. Outside circle 1, birthday eagle. Very next day, you're like, is there a birthday hangover? No, look, she rips this drive out. That's the crucial spot there. She plays to the flat, gets the skip on the short grass, and is able to go over the water in 2 once again. Just barely outside circle 2 this time. Look familiar? There's another eagle. Back-to-back days, back-to-back threes on the par 5. She would go on to birdie it during the Saturday round.
Not bad scoring for Catrina Allen, and she definitely has a game plan here on this par 5. Says she doesn't focus on the distance off of the tee, but rather a placement shot. Then she requires that distance to get up and over the pond, and it was able to get her those eagle putts and that birdie putt in the last 3 rounds. So we can see as we creep up, you got the 2 plans. We got the aggressive line that Catrina throws, or you can play 2 shots to the pond's edge and then put your emphasis on that 3rd shot. But that is a tough one to get over this concrete barrier. You got to get it high enough, but then low enough under these trees to get it near the green for a birdie. But this hole is allowing players to get under par. This seems like one of the easier holes for players, as long as you don't go out of bounds. So you do have the out of bounds pond, and then there's an out of bounds line on the right hand side in those trees. Paige found it in the first round.
Wow, this is a huge shot. Pierce certainly going to be able to get aggressive on the second after that.
Oh, this is much more to the right than we've seen Catrina throw her drives.
You could see there's Paige. I believe her when she says her plan is just to play a safe shot there, because Paige got 50 feet on her easily. Hokom's going to go backhand again.
Backhand's looking nice and smooth. She's right there on that flat part of the fairway. So that's a nice stance to have your second shot, which I imagine Sarah will be playing the safe play, the layup play for her second.
Just going to stick to the game plan.
That's turned over. Heather's going to be on that side hill.
Yeah, very tough run up there to get aggressive from the fairway, but Paige Pierce, I don't think we've seen a better drive than that all weekend here. Let's see it one more time.
So much power, and then it gets that late flip up. Continues to hyzer out at the end, and that nice fast golf fairway gave her that extra skip forward. That's a smash.
On a mission today. Might be an impossible one, but she'll try nonetheless. I mean, she's 3 down through the first 5 holes. Those out-of-bounds par saves, so crucial right now. She's got 4 strokes on Heather Young, who just hasn't quite been able to get anything going. We know Heather, she told us she wasn't really focusing on the win so much. She was going to try to play within her game and just place as best as she can. So just got to hang in here for a little bit. If Paige starts to stumble, tries to kick it into too aggressive of a gear, Heather Young could be right there with an opportunity to move into second. But I think a podium finish here for the rookie will be a great feather in the cap.
And the thing about Heather's game plan on a course like this, she talked about her distance, not throwing as far as the rest of the division. She's playing the safe plays, the layup plays, but she has to perfectly execute those to play at the top of her game. I think with a game plan that similar to what she has, it's going to take those top players faltering for Heather to catch up. You know, she doesn't have a lot of ground to gain on the layup plays, especially on a course like this.
Certainly the big challenge for Heather is going to be try to get to the green where she's most effective and can do the damage. Hokom laying up short of the pond. Hopefully we don't need 3 holes in a row where we have some of these OB pond calls, but as you can see, this pin close to the water. It's very easy to fly 30 past and look back at it. This is what the top 4 look like right now. Fajkus. Strong work today. She's 3 down through 6. She took the disappointing par on this hole. So Catrina changing the plan here. She's been aggressive every day. We'll see what she's thinking about. She's also further right than she was previously.
Driver in hand, so she's still going for this. It's all about how much she changes up this angle. Is she going to play more to the left-hand side, keep it a lot more safe, or is she still going to run at the basket? She said if she's feeling confident, she's going for those shots.
She's got 4 birdies in the first 5 holes, so I'd imagine she's feeling pretty confident in the game today. Oh, kicks inbounds just past the tree right there. That'll be another eagle look, this time from the right side of the green.
That is dangerous coming into the green on the right-hand side. You can see she just missed that tree, but hitting that tree, you're likely going to land out of bounds, but able to skip in there. And again, there is that golf green on the right-hand side. If you do throw it a little bit too far, got the card path on the right-hand side. So left is where you want to be. So we'll see if Paige makes that adjustment.
What's that tell you about her confidence?
Dialing it in.
Paige measured it up, wants to be precise here.
Oh my. I think that rangefinder helped dial in that distance. Perfectly executed.
That eagle is parked. Call it landed. Let's see it one more time.
And this is from a 450-foot drive, leaving her with this mid-range approach to the basket.
Impressive. Heather Young found this corner of OB. Yes, that the path goes from out of bounds to inbounds. And I mean, look, it's inches.
Wow. Yeah, it makes a 90-degree turn to the right. So she...
Oh, that's awful. Now it's up, down for par. Keep the par train rolling. That's the goal here.
Error on the side of throwing past the basket. She's got good height under that. Oh, that's a great shot. And just when she needed it to happen, too.
She'll have another par putt.
little bit of a slow start, I'd say. I mean, the more pars you're stringing up in this front 9, the more strokes you're losing to the field. We see players playing their best in this front 9. And then if they happen to get in trouble in the back 9, they can rely on those birdies that they took. So Heather needs to get a few birdies on the scorecard to continue to maintain that spot.
Hokom in nice and tight for birdie. Should be able to drop that in. She's still got some work to do erasing those early bogeys. This would be the second in a row. A couple eagles, couple birdies, and a par. Looks on the way for the lead card. Good to see spectators out here again. Of course, this is a Phase 2 event on the Disc Golf Pro Tour's reopening policy. We want to make sure that we create a safe environment for our athletes, spectators, and fans. You already know you've got the best seat in the house. You're watching here on Disc Golf Network. We appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in.
There's a look at Catrina's disc. Wow, she's got a wide open look at her eagle putt.
She's managed to not give up a single stroke to Paige so far today. Just a little bit short. She's had eagle looks all 4 days. She still played number 6 under par in 4 rounds. So altogether, done a lot of damage on this hole.
And still, even with that missed putt, it does look like the Catrina Allen of old. It still looks confident. She's hitting the center of the basket. As you can tell, looking back on those old tapes has really helped her arm swing, her putting style. Here's Heather Young to save her par.
So solid. She could just get into position for some birdies. She can start to put herself in position to secure this 3rd place because, well, we are seeing some movement. Easy eagle for Paige Pierce there. We're seeing some movement in that top 10, top 15, but not closer to the top 5. You know, chase card not making any massive runs quite yet. So that's a benefit to Heather at this point. Here is that chase card up ahead on 7. Hailey King in for par. Mandujano in for par. Lisa Fajkus in for par.
And do you think it's a coincidence? They're wearing blue. Birdies on UDisc are blue. And they're cashing more birdies and catching up to that lead card. I think you got to dress for the round you want to shoot. And they want to shoot blue. Hole 7, it's a par 4, 575 feet. We see this hole playing to par, but I think it is one that players should be attacking for birdie. Starts off with a big drive off the tee. You want to miss all those trees. If you get hung up short, it makes that second shot really tough. But players have been leaving the second shot short of the basket. We want to see them attacking it a little bit more to make it a little bit easier for their putts. 9% birdies today.
9% birdies, but not a whole lot of over par strokes either. On average, hole 7 playing just under its par 4 mark by the numbers. Paige cuts the lead by 1 for the first time today. It's to 10 strokes at this point. Here she is on the tee. Paige's driver starting to really warm up now.
10 strokes back, 12 holes to play. Can she continue to make up those strokes?
I mean, she's going to need some help, and Catrina Allen has no intention of helping her. Starting to build the blue wall herself. One slip up on the third, but other than that, she's continued this highlight reel weekend. She'll have a clear look to the pin from there.
So there is out of bounds on the left-hand side. Heather Young had to deal with the out of bounds yesterday. Oh, but I'm already seeing Sarah Hokom lining up the straight at it route, and oof, gets that turned over. Doesn't get the full distance. Just doesn't want to bring in that out of bounds, I'm guessing. Trying to weave it in and out of the trees. But we've got Heather Young with that big hyzer. And there's a lot of space on the left-hand side. Going this far left gap. There's no trees in your way. But she has to make sure she has enough height under that for the disc to work its way back.
This is a better line than yesterday's. Oh, may have gotten hung up a little bit. Left side's hard to attack on number 7. I'll have to see what the upshot looks like. We talked about Catrina Allen's 9-down round yesterday. Second in a row. She was doing it with shots like this. This is at number 8, then up on 10. At one point, she'd go ahead and park 3-4 holes consecutively. Says, oh, you're going to talk about my putting? Well, I just won't putt. I'll just get the 2s the easy way. Look at this. On the 15th par 4. Watch out, Jeff Spring, tour director in the flight lines. As Catrina Allen, one of the only players to even look at a birdie on that hole. And then on number 18, little body English. Settles it right there inside circle 1. We've always known she's very dangerous off the tee.
Absolutely, and when that putter makes the connection with the basket, that's when Catrina is scoring. And it's funny, her percentage of putting in circle 1 isn't the highest. It's not lights out, but it's average. She's at 73% for this weekend. But we have seen when she's having struggles with the putter, she's at more like 40%. So this weekend, the putter is on point. She's able to make putts when she needs to. And that is when you know you need to look out for Catrina. And she is making quite a show of this course this weekend.
Well, remember in the final round, the World Championships, Paige Pierce was able to run her down and claim that 5th world title. And you know Catrina has not forgotten about that. That would have been her 2nd world title, and 4 versus 2 in the world title count looks a lot different than 5 versus 1. So a little bit of revenge in mind on this Sunset Hills course, I'm sure. Heather's made this upshot a bit technical, hasn't she?
Absolutely, and if I'm correct on the gap she's lining up, she's going for that straight up the gut shot. Wow, she's got to get over that stump. It's over 6 feet high, and she does just that. There's circle's edge there, so she's on the right-hand side of that circle.
Getting a lot of work from circle's edge today. But this one is for birdie, so see if she can grab the first one of her round.
Smashes the tree and gets a huge kick off to the right-hand side. It's looking to be a layup par for Catrina. So the door is open for Paige to gain another stroke. But it comes down to a tricky upshot. Let's see if she can get it close enough.
Yeah, Paige is going to have to start thinking running anything that looks remotely runnable. Right now, if she were just 10 feet right of this, be a lot easier to really get aggressive on this line. Still got to go over the stump here.
Got to fly over that stump flat. Just like that. Perfectly dialed in.
This is the Paige we were kind of waiting to see all weekend. It's great golf.
I think Paige has been waiting for this too. Putts are falling in. She's hitting the line she intended.
Here's Hokom's third. She puts it to 10 feet.
Man, Sarah is just working in those backhands like it's no big deal. And that is great to see. No, she's put in a lot of time on the practice field, making sure she's feeling comfortable with the backhand. And then she's throwing those shots in crucial situations when the pressure's on, when people are watching. And I think that just helps build that experience so you can pull out that shot when it calls for it.
Catrina's in close for her par now. That's going to be put her lead to 9 strokes after Paige taps in the birdie. It's fine. You can fold a few hands when you do all your work in the middle rounds.
Heather Young for birdie.
She gets that one to drop.
Beautiful putts. And that is the first birdie on her scorecard. And that was an impressive one.
I'm telling you. Heather, I'm calling you for putting lessons. Get ready for it. Hokom's got a par.
She did give credit to the virtual putting championship that happened during the kind of hiatus that we saw in the sport. She was able to get out in the backyard, get around the practice basket. You can see it's really paid off.
Let's look ahead to number 8. Hailey King on the chase card, looking to make some moves.
Hailey's got 4 birdies on her scorecard. She's also got a bogey and a double bogey. So she's at 1 under for today's round. Heather Young, all pars, 1 birdie. She's at 1 under as well. So 2 different paths to get to 1 under.
This is the putt that would put Hailey back at 1 under par. That is 2 of the last 3, though, after the double bogey on the 5th. Now we're going to see exactly what Hailey just had to deal with as we fly over the 8th.
Hole 8 works its way all the way uphill. We have a little bit of low ceiling to deal with, so players really need to make sure they're getting all the height under their disc as they can. That'll give them the distance they need to get up to the basket. It says it's only 292 feet, but plays well over 300. Players really need to put a move on it to reach the basket. Catrina Allen absolutely parked this one yesterday. So she's looking to do the same today. Get those birdies back in line.
Paige Pierce, 6 down through 7 holes. Despite throwing it out of bounds twice in the first 3. That's an impressive number. Catrina, 4 down. Kind of looking down the scoreboard here. If anybody else is that number, Emily Beach. She's at 4 down for the day. She's through the front 9.
Emily Beach, hailing out of Oklahoma, representing the state well this weekend. We've seen her name on the leaderboard quite often.
Paige, could she power it up the hill? No, the leaf kick. Just tickling those branches and taking enough off of it. That's going to be a long run. Emily Beach, seem to see her name around the Glass Blown Open every year. It's good to see her playing well. She's currently trying to crack that top 10.
Heather's got the nice flight path. She's able to flip it over and hyzer back. Little too much flip over. Trying to get that full distance.
Inside the circle there. She had that putt on Friday.
It's the thing. Inside the circle putt, I feel like most of the time you're going to have to go for those. In this moment, we'll see if Catrina changes her strategy. We've got the sand trap just behind the basket, so there's potential for out of bounds. And if she doesn't get it in the basket, it might roll back to her. So we'll see how confident that putter is.
Hokom's put it up the hill inside circle 2. Sand trap looms just off to the right of the pin. We mentioned Emily Beach. There she is. Up 5 spots today. Currently tied with Ellen Widboom and Elaine King. Let's go out to 9. Here's Hailey King.
First time we haven't seen her throw the roller on this hole. It's worked out well for her in the previous rounds, but that sidearm also works pretty nicely. She's going to be on the right-hand side, looking at her upshot over the pond.
Yeah, she put that roller right to water's edge on this par 4. Not many people get eagle looks at this pin, but Hailey King did earlier in the week. Here's Fajkus. That's a great drive.
Well, that's a pretty fun group to watch. Hailey King's got the roller, the sidearm, a great backhand drive. Lisa Fajkus as well. She's got a great sidearm. She's got a great backhand. So I'm sure it's fun for these players who have multiple strategies or approaches off the tee to see how each other plays these holes. Paige's second shot. It's laying up under the basket.
Yeah, that's certainly a layup just to concede that par.
Oh, we got to back up on the next hole anyway. That's the third card right there, right?
Here comes Heather hustling up the hill. Such a smooth pace of play out here at Sunset Hills. You get a little bit of backups in tournament play, of course, just like anywhere. But honestly, this is one of the most pleasurable places to watch the division play and just to call golf from.
And a great way to wake up on Sunday morning.
Right? Heather Young's forehand is, gets the roll away. But again, another par putt.
You can see how fast this putting green can be. And just a relatively easy upshot. Now she has a tester putt with that roll back.
What's Hokom left with? Let's see. I call it 45, 48 feet uphill.
Camera really makes these putts look short, right? I mean, that's a large putt for her birdie.
Doesn't take much time. She had it on line.
Whew. It was a layup for sure, but I wasn't totally sure that was going to sit after hitting the pole.
Right.
But there we go. You know, Catrina was thinking about this putt as she walked up to her lie. And there we go. She had the game plan. She's not confident for it. She's not going to go for putts like that.
Oh, the decision's made much easier by the fact that Paige Pierce is not close for a birdie on this hole. Scary putt here for Heather. Maybe the scariest one she's had to face so far. And another uphill. She gives that one the height, though.
Yeah, I think I'll take some lessons, too, from Heather. Those putts are so solid.
See if she gives group discounts.
Awesome putting showcase from Heather Young this weekend.
Paige is in for her par on 8. Hokom in for par. Par frame on the 8th. Well, that putt is going to hurt that Circle 1X putting stat, but at the end of the day, it's all about getting the win. Catrina Allen sticking with her game plan. Still birdieing nearly half the holes she's faced so far.
Birdieing holes, parking them, so you can still see all those first place rankings, and that all comes down to her drive. She's so accurate. She's so precise. And then it all comes down to putting for her if she can score. And today those stats are higher, or this weekend they're higher than they have ever been.
Let's go ahead to number 9. Here's Vanessa Van Dyken's second shot from the fairway. Another pond skip.
Wow. I feel like there's not so much water in these ponds. There's a lot of lily pads, a lot of that scum that these players are finding their discs skip over.
Better to skip over than to dive into it. Vanessa Van Dyken has found both of those. Yesterday losing one of her most used drivers in hole 11. Let's check out Hailey King. Similar looking shot. Or position, rather, to Vanessa. She's going to go forehand over. She'll make the green. Hard to believe such a pleasant walk on a Sunday morning. We're almost halfway through. We're to the 9th. Not too much has changed on the scoreboard so far, at least not inside the top 5. Positions 1 through 4 have not changed. And as you can see there, that's how they started the day, in that same order. Lisa Fajkus up a couple spots, Sarah Hokom down a couple spots, but other than that, smooth sailing at Sunset Hills.
9 strokes to go, 10 holes to play. And that's really what it all comes down to. When the holes start to run out, when the holes start to be less than the strokes are that you have to gain on the lead, that is when you know Catrina Allen will be your winner. But still, the options are open. We're going to say that, and we know Paige Pierce wants to hunt that down, or at least try and get it a little bit closer. Get some redemption on this course.
Lisa Fajkus's putt just a little bit short there on the green of 9. Now here's Hailey King.
Great putt for birdie. That's 2 in a row, and that puts Hailey King at 2 under. The battle right now, Hailey and Heather. They're battling for that 3rd place position. They're currently tied at 10 under for the tournament. Valerie taps in her birdie as well. This is going to be Lisa Fajkus for her par.
Future of the sport in great hands. When you see players like Mandujano, like Hailey King, like Heather Young. Tremendous amount of talent in FPO these days. She's been the undisputed #1 in the game for many years now. Like you said, faced with this scenario, 10 holes to play, 9 strokes to gain. She gets this drive right. She's missed it high in the branches first 3 rounds. Oh, she's really close to that water.
Yeah.
She's going to like where she ended up off of that drive.
Heather, of course, going to play the left route. Helps to get as close as you can to the water as possible.
This is a good rollout here. That's why I like to play out to the right side of those trees. Kind of get onto the short golf fairway grass there. Get a little skip, get a little roll. Good look to attack on the second.
Not really the route I'm sure she was going for. But when you don't hit trees, you still get the distance. Catrina's going to have to take the left-hand route to the basket. Sarah looking to take that same path as well.
Just misses that corner tree there. She's down in the flat. It's a good landing spot for the sidearm play. We were talking about Heather Young, Hailey King. Here's a comparison of two of the bright young stars of this game here. A lot of two different styles of game we're looking at as well. Hailey King kind of doing it off of the tee. Big shots, big forehands, backhands. Obviously, the putter works very well. She can range from downtown. Heather Young's the more consistent putter, I'd probably say, at this point in time. Still working on kind of building that power. Let's get a glimpse of Hailey King. This is ahead on 10. Just needs to find the window. Oh, might have gotten gobbled up there. A little row of bushes on the right side. Really the only challenge on this hole. Valerie Mandujano, another young and already very accomplished player out of Texas.
Ooh, playing the short gap and the skip. That's going to be a little short, so she's going to be relying on her putter for that birdie.
Vanessa Van Dyken, who's 4 under par for the tournament.
And there is that gap through the trees. We saw Catrina throw it yesterday. But it is such a tight line. I like that play just a little bit more. Don't even bring the trees into play.
Let's go back to Hokom. Not a lot of trees in her way here. Maybe just that one branch right in front of her, but otherwise clear airspace. She's judged it just right.
It has been a close call the last 2 days. I mean, to land on, that's such a small landing area between the basket and the water. But she dials it up just perfectly. And now the pond's at her back. It's not a very scary putt for her birdie.
Heather Young is so good with that sidearm. Puts that to 20 feet. What she lacks in distance, she's making up for in accuracy. Catrina's displayed both.
Great angle. Use that hyzer to fade even more safe. So here's another putt just inside the circle. There's trouble behind the basket. We'll see if Catrina chooses to go for this one or lay up.
Well, I think in all likelihood she's going to probably give up another one to Paige Pierce here, because when we see Paige's drive here in a moment, I mean, look at this. Paige is thinking, just maybe. Just maybe. Just a birdie. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back in just a moment to see the lead card putting on 9, and then the final 9 holes of the Ledgestone Insurance Open after this. Welcome back. As expected, Catrina wants no part of that putt. She'll give up one stroke, not going to give up two unnecessarily.
I mean, sticking with her gut, going with what she told herself she was going to do coming into this round. Had a huge lead, and there's no reason to give up those unnecessary strokes. So just laying it up, not even bringing trouble into play. There's Heather Young for her birdie. Man, that just goes to show you that was the farthest putt out for birdie. Sarah Hokom's going to be walking over to her lie.
Yeah, Heather Young now 2 of the last 3. Hokom's now got all of the strokes she gave away in the first 3 holes back. She's back to even par. Paige Pierce, 7 under.
Oh my gosh. 7 under. She got parred 3 holes and got that eagle on 6.
7 under through 9. Incredibly impressive work. On to the back 9. Hole number 10.
So we saw the chase card teeing off from this hole, but here is the flyby. Got that tight tunnel to get out of to start. And then we've got these trees at the basket to contend with. So we saw some players laying short and kind of hyzering out in front of the trees, but that leaves you with an outside the circle look at birdie. Catrina Allen went through the trees yesterday, and there is a gap if you're able to throw high of the bushes and come into that side hill. So this is attackable. You can park this hole. We see just 300 feet.
Moments ago, Hailey King looking for the birdie on 10. Ooh, just a bit right side there. She'll take the par. Now live on the tee with Paige Pierce. Finally able to play the left side. This is the first clear putt she's going to have at this hole.
Yeah, exactly. She hung it out to the right the previous 3 rounds. You've got the willow trees, and those low-hanging branches make it really difficult to putt through.
Pierce is just on a heater right now. So crucial were those par save putts early in the round.
This middle part of the course is where Heather begins to shine. So saw her off to a slow start in the beginning of this round, but now she's been able to pick up a few birdies. It's going to be an outside look. Maybe bringing some of that farm landscaping equipment into play to make footing a little difficult.
Yeah, she might have a window, though. She may have just gotten far enough. We've seen some putts go in from the right side, but it's difficult. Hokom looking to flex it. It's a pretty good job there. She's going to be a little short. That hillside came up and caught her.
You can see that left-hand side, nobody's got inside the circle yet. So leaving it up to the putts for birdie. Let's see if Kat can hit that line we saw yesterday.
That line right there.
Oh, yeah. There's a park job. You know she's going for that putt.
We talked to Sarah Hokom yesterday. It's been a really short turnaround between the Ledgestone and the Idlewild. Reverse that. Idlewild, then Ledgestone. Sarah Hokom has been a little out of her element, and she shared why.
Man, I over-practiced this week, too, because, I mean, this course is bombers. I have to throw every shot as hard as I can. I also threw in some discs that I threw in a relativity, which is like a 14.5 speed bombing disc, which I never throw that disc, but it gets me that extra 30 feet that I need out here on some of these holes. So, and I over practice just trying to get comfortable with it. And there's also, I'm throwing a lot of backhands. I'm trying to throw a lot of backhands. So I was trying to work through all of that. And I mean, I haven't really, so I guess I would say I didn't take a rest day on Wednesday like I would normally. And I over practiced and we're teeing in the morning. So it definitely feels just kind of out of my element.
Well, she managed to get onto the lead card despite being out of her element. And, I mean, Sarah Hokom, no shortage of distance in her game on most courses around the country, but leaves her with putts like this instead of the 20-footers that she'd like to be dealing with. Still playing very well, 8 under par to this point. In close for the par.
I have no doubt that these players are going to take a much needed rest on Monday or early next week, because this has been a grueling 2 weekends of tournaments.
I mean, how important is it that the MVP Open moved 2 weeks? It was going to be before the Green Mountain Championship. Now it's afterwards, so a little extra time for recovery.
Taking a knee at circle's edge. She needed so much power behind that, and with power, she's not able to get it on the line she needed to.
Heather, left half of the basket's going to be blocked. This putt, a good bit easier for a righty than for a lefty. Especially for Heather, who putts it rather straight away.
Well, I could just see the right side of the basket. Need a lot of Annie on this putt. Oh, that was awesome. She hit the perfect line on that. Oh, great save from Heather. That's just inside the circle. But that's 2 birdies in a row. It's Catrina Allen for her birdie after 3 pars in a row. Finally able and feeling comfortable on her putt.
That's a ridiculous putt. Technicality of that, to go uphill, get it back Annie when you know it's going to be nose up.
Paige gives back a stroke to Catrina. This will be a drop in par for Sarah Hokom as well.
Let's see this one more time. Catrina Allen starting the back 9 off after just laying up for 3 pars in a row. Finds the gap on the hyzer, puts it nice and close right there. Now Heather Young, this putt. The angle so impressive. Well-earned birdie for Heather Young right there. That's 2 in a row. Going up to number 11 with Hailey King. You got to play the course in order, right? We talked about that earlier. 9, 10, then 11. That's a 2 for Hailey King.
Nice putt from Hailey.
Paige Pierce setting the tone. 7 down through 10 holes. Still 9 strokes back for Catrina Allen, who is fully in control of this round.
And the battle continues. Heather Young and Hailey King matching each other in today's round at 3 under. Sarah Hokom falling back just a little bit, and that gap between her and fourth place is starting to grow.
Yeah, Lisa Fajkus right now up in that mix. So is Valerie Mandujano. All three of those ladies in the last two cards. Battle to make the top 5.
Here we have hole 11, 393 feet. Got a OB marked area just on Circle 2's edge, just on the left kind of side of the basket, just short. We also have the OB pond beyond and to the right. So players have to dial up this distance. That's a good landing zone for Heather Young. Knowing if she's pushing it even farther, she's really bringing those two out of bounds areas into play. But we know Catrina Allen has the distance here. It's all about hitting that line.
That's flipped over. That's got to fade back before the pond.
Right at the red flag.
You saw her kind of run out immediately and check. Paige now licking her chops. 2-stroke swing potentially.
As we mentioned, Paige had 2 ace runs yesterday at 380 feet. So this is just 10 feet farther. So we know she has the distance to pin this.
She just crushes that one. Laser line.
Oh my, Jamie. This could possibly be that 2-stroke swing. And those are the kind of movements that we need to see. We're halfway through the course. Paige needs to make up those strokes and doing what she has to do. Parking hole 11.
Her ability to turn it on a dime is just so dangerous. Paige Pierce is never really out of a tournament unless she plays herself out with bogeys. Hokom's giving that one a little more height, but a lot more turn. And we are off on the 11th.
It's one of those holes that it's in the distance that these players can reach, but requires just such full out power. And so players not as accurate as we typically see because they want that birdie so bad.
Yeah, I think for a player like Heather, it was just outside of her range. And we've seen Sarah Hokom get into a reasonable birdie look before, but just overturning that one off the tee. We're going to take this moment to check in with Terry Miller, who's on the tee of 11.
Hey guys, Terry Miller checking in here after the tee on hole number 11. Wanted to give a little insight of some of the things I'm seeing and hearing out here. I think one of the most entertaining ones is if at any point in the background you see Sarah Hokom's caddy / man friend, as she calls him, Robin, holding up his phone sometime behind her when she's putting or when she's off to the green. It's because he said that he doesn't want her to lose her Bluetooth connection. So she's got her earbuds in. She uses those quite religiously almost every single weekend. And so when I saw him holding up his phone behind her, he said, yeah, we can't lose the Bluetooth connection. So that's how she's staying focused and how she's staying dialed. Speaking of which, Paige Pierce said that she knows she has a huge mountain to climb here in trying to hunt down Catrina Allen, but she knew after she threw the approach shot back there just on hole number 9, she was putting herself in position for birdie, and she was very intently watching what Catrina was doing. And then, of course, we saw Catrina lay it up right next to the basket, and Paige knows that she's got a huge mountain, like I said, but if anyone's going to make a charge, it's going to be Paige Pierce. What a tremendous drive here on 11. We're looking forward to some fireworks on the back. Or will Paige find a way to hunt her down? We'll check in with you in a few holes.
I expect nothing less from Paige Pierce. Going to take every opportunity that you give her.
That was such a funny story. And I've never heard that reason of a caddy having to be close to a player. Then you don't want to lose that Bluetooth connection. We know Sarah Hokom's always listening to music on her headphones.
Ooh, Heather Young. Chill out with that roll away. I think with the payout here at Ledgestone, Sarah Hokom going to have to get a little stronger Bluetooth headphones. Robin's arm's going to get tired.
Pretty good lie here for Catrina. And they're going to give that to her. So she's at circle's edge.
Yeah, now Catrina's turn to put in this par putt here. This would be a big statement. She can come back right here and keep Paige from taking 2 strokes. Cut that to 1. Good bid at it.
So there's Heather Young's roll. Not the worst roll in the world, but she was hoping to be right underneath the basket. Walk away with that easy par. Now she's got a little bit of work to do.
No wind to speak of. Puts that one in. She just refuses to take bogeys today.
Here we go. To gain 2 strokes on Catrina. Paige Pierce with her birdie.
It's going to become 7 strokes with 7 to play. Catrina's going to have to hunt that disc out of the water because that's one we're going to see her throw again and again. The lead is 7. We talked about this earlier. Worlds last year. Final round score.
Wow, and that's kind of what we were thinking about, like, of that stroke. For Paige to gain that many strokes on Catrina, she had to start early and hasn't really been able to gain strokes on her until this middle part of the course. But to come back 9 strokes for the win.
Let's actually watch back some of the footage from 2019. That was on 9. The lead was down to 1. Catrina just not able to get the putter working. Just short putts. The confidence left her. What a difference a year makes. Here's on 11, makes the same overturned mistake. And finds the water. It was still pretty murky back then, too. And then all of a sudden, Paige Pierce just doing work on the back 9 to win her 5th world title. But that is not the story that Catrina Allen is writing, because she's besting Paige in most of the statistical categories. You have to make the distinction and look at the OB differential. 6 strokes Catrina Allen has saved by not going OB. And though, she's laid up a couple of the Circle 1X putts today, Paige does have the better percentage there. It's just this is not the same player we saw last summer.
Wow, that is crazy to see. 6 strokes. Erase those 6 strokes from Paige Pierce. She's 1 stroke back of the lead. So those OBs have really hurt Paige. But you can see Catrina is so dialed in with almost every one of those stats highlighted today. And really not that far off from Circle 1X putting. Paige just has a few percentage points over her. But that C2, Cat has been on fire from outside the circle in the previous 3 rounds, but sticking to the game plan today, laying up if you're not confident.
Yesterday, on hole number 12, we saw Paige Pierce hit the basket on this hole. So, good vibes in her mind right now, but this hole is daunting.
It is. It's a very tight line to hit off the tee pad. An elevated tee and downhill all the way to the basket. Players have been getting hung up on those bushes on the right-hand side. If you do get hung up, you might likely roll into the pond. And it's a very tough lie, as we saw Ellen Woodboom, Paige having to take their lie from those bushes. But here is that shot, as you were mentioning. Paige taking the low route and inside the bushes, making a good adjustment and cashing right side of chains. Managed to stay inbounds past the basket. Got her birdie yesterday.
How about this? Hole 18 measures out also to 383 feet. Coincidence? Or is Paige just dialed?
She has that distance dialed in so perfectly. I mean, who has 2 basket hits in 1 round? And the round wasn't all that great, according to her standards.
Well, certainly a different story today as she is 8 down through 11 holes. 2 clutch par save putts on holes 2 and 3 after throwing out of bounds.
The one pair we had. Okay.
Still a tall task, though, but you mentioned 7 back with 7 to play. She's still in that strokes to holes remaining ratio that makes it a decent possibility and kind of powers you up to try to make something happen. I think it's the next 3 holes that are really going to tell the story here. 12, OB, 13, lots of OB, 14, you can be blocked by those trees to where those big stroke swings could happen. Let's watch Hailey King play this hole just a few moments ago. Look at this, just throwing the high right gap. Getting inside the circle, now this is live on the green.
Wow. She made a massive putt to save her par after throwing out of bounds yesterday, but that's a birdie for her today, putting her at 4 under for the round.
Look at this.
She's got Dad on the bag. He's a great coach, and I know that they've been playing disc golf together for so many years. So I'm sure he's very proud to watch her on the stage and performing as well as she has.
Here's Van Dyken on the 12th, looking for her birdie. Vanessa's putter. It's kind of come and gone this weekend. She's got a good setup and a routine. And Valerie Mandujano, double bogey.
Wow. 3-stroke swing there between Valerie and Hailey on the same card. So, as you were mentioning, things can happen on this hole.
Yeah, Catrina did take a bogey on this hole yesterday. That's something to remember. That bush you were talking about that just kind of sits right there, short of the lake. Lisa Fajkus in for par. Now Paige Pierce on the tee.
It's a part I don't ever really mention on this one. So we have the tree on the left-hand side, and then players have to shoot through this opening. We can see a hillside of a golf T on the right-hand side of the player's viewpoint. So they have to shoot right through this V. I like this line. It's no ace, but that's a park job for Paige. Thought she was dialing it up again today.
Yeah, that line looked even better than yesterday's. I didn't want to say anything and jinx it. This is to be expected from Pierce to put the pressure.
And really, this could be so fun to watch. We know that Paige is going to have to give it everything she's got. So even if she's outside on some of these shots, she's going to have to run it. We know Paige doesn't like getting second place. She's got winning on her mind.
Oh, this could head towards that OB if it doesn't hold. It does. Hits the hillside. It's not going to be close, but again, Heather Young's game doesn't quite set up to really take advantage of this hole, so a par is going to be great for her. Sarah's in kind of a similar situation here.
This is a smash to get it up to the basket. Paige made it look easy. That distance is in her wheelhouse. But we heard in that interview with Sarah Hokom, she's having to choose discs that are a little bit faster, can give her that extra distance down the fairway. But again, with power, you lose accuracy.
This looks like it's going to swing nicely. She'll be inside circle 2. Catrina Allen, great line here.
On edge. But with those claps, and thank you to all the spectators out there, we now know that Catrina Allen will be safe.
Going to take a quick commercial break. We are through 11 and a half holes, 7.5 more to go. Come back and see how it all shakes out. You're watching the Disc Golf Network. On the fairway of 12, Heather Young lining up her second shot. Severe downhill slope here.
Good idea to give it a second look. It is a very fast green. And at this angle that she's approaching the basket, just needs this to kind of just flop next to the basket, and it does just that. Nice and safe.
Threw it right into the little guard, where the little Pro Tour sleeve, we should say, underneath the pin there. Oh, scary look here. Even when you can see the basket, doesn't get any less frightening. Again, this shot really sets up more for a spin putter than a push putter.
That was a good little run there from Sarah. I could tell she was trying to get comfortable with the footing, and, you know, I'm expecting a nice, safe layup underneath the basket, but she gave that a little spin, as you were mentioning, to get underneath those branches.
What does Catrina do here? Is she comfortable going 6 holes with 6 strokes? I think so. Just not even worried about what Paige is doing right now, just sticking to the game plan.
Yeah, that's a lot of work to make up a stroke on every one of these holes. She is betting on it right now with that layup.
That's what the situation will be. 6 back, 6 to play.
And that is going to be 9 under for Paige Pierce. That is the best round that we've seen, and Catrina was able to shoot that back-to-back rounds. But now we have Paige going into hole 13 with that hot score.
Good putt there from Sarah Hokom for par. Heather Young gets out of a bad spot with a good par. Catrina will tap in her par here. Let's roll right along to number 13.
Hole 13, it's a par 3, and this could set up for 2 different ways to play this. Some players, if they don't have the distance or they don't feel confident in the shot, you're going to see them laying up just short of the tall grass here. We're going to see players that are playing the aggressive line going over the out of bounds to land on this island green. It's about 40 feet around the basket, and all that tall grass is out of bounds. If you end up going long even, you'll have to take your 3rd throw from the drop zone, which is about 100 feet short.
Here's Hailey King playing this hole. Oh, it's dangerous when you clip those branches. Red flag here from the drop zone. 3rd shot.
Looking for somebody to cash this putt today. Haven't seen any par saves yet on film, but that will be a bogey for Hailey King.
And the battle for 3rd place continues as the duo of Young and King get a little further from Hokom and Fajkus. And we can go live to 14, where we do see Hailey King back on the tee.
Love the snap that Hailey has on her drives.
It's going to be a good shot there. Going to be inside, at least inside of circle 2. She looked like she was asking for a little more slide, and that can be the big difference between a 40-footer and a 15-footer, trying to get under those trees on the 14th. Back on the 13th.
Can I ask you to move just a little bit, please? Thank you.
Paige is feeling it right now, and this is going to require Paige to go for this shot without a doubt, but she cannot go out of bounds. And there we go, Jamie. That's what she needed to do.
Yeah, the pressure just begins to creep up on Catrina at this point.
And it is one of those holes. We got Paige Pierce parked underneath the basket. That's an automatic birdie for her. Pressure's on Catrina. We know that she likes to go for this shot, but maybe today, if she changes up that strategy, lays up, it's a guaranteed 3. If she goes for it and goes out of bounds, it's almost a guaranteed bogey. So we could see a score swing if Catrina cannot put it underneath the basket on 1.
Heather Young sticking with the play that she's chosen all weekend long. Just pitching the forehand up just short of the drop zone.
Makes it way less scary. As long as you can get it in good position and get it through that tunnel, then you have a relatively easy upshot to the basket. And I mean, at least you can see the basket.
Hokom going for, well, what we normally call Simon routes.
That is a crazy route. And that's just to lay up. Oh my gosh. Bringing in those trees. I mean, if you land in those trees, you'd be lucky if you can pitch out in just one shot. Wow. All right. This is a huge pressure shot for Catrina Allen. Clips the trees off of her drive. Out of bounds. And it is those leaves that came into play just took a little bit of speed off the disc and causing her to check up just short.
Paige Pierce starting to apply pressure here. This is where the mental coaching, this is where you can't forget, or you have to forget about what's happened in the past. 6 with 6 could be 4 strokes with 5. We have yet to see anybody throw it in from the drop zone here, and Paige Pierce once again parked. The ghosts of tournaments past coming to life here on the back 9 at Sunset Hills.
Didn't say it was going to be impossible, but it was very unlikely that Paige could make up all these strokes. And we're seeing it right here in front of our own eyes, and I'm on the edge of my seat. The tension is pulled so tight. What is going to happen? I cannot wait to see.
Sarah Hokom in a battle of her own with the rough here. She did not get out into the zone, and that's dangerous there. That's very close to the OB. You could see the drop zone just outside of that tree protection there in the walkway. Wow. But look at what Paige Pierce is having to do to even get into this position. It's incredible golf that we're seeing. Heather for the long birdie. Just staying close for the par.
Still not an easy shot for Sarah Hokom.
She's had to deal with every type of tree that exists on this hole. That'll be a natural 4. She looks calm. Calm and collected.
But I can only imagine just fiery on the inside. That is a huge mistake.
You're starting to see the danger in conceding the strokes. If you take your foot off of the gas and then suddenly in a pressure situation you have to gear it back up, it becomes much more difficult to play with that aggressive confidence. Patient game plan for Heather Young, paying dividends right now. She's still tied with Hailey King, each of them 12 under. Paige Pierce now gets to 20. Catrina will drop to 24.
Sarah Hokom is struggling on 13 without any out of bounds strokes, so not quite as she drew it up.
Let's see Paige's drive one more time on 13.
This was so clutch, and it takes all the pressure off being the first person on the tee. Knowing that Paige was underneath the basket, Catrina knew she had to match it, but she did have some opportunities to choose other paths, but still playing aggressive.
Very dangerous hole here. It is both attackable, but there's OB surrounding that you could find yourself in if you don't hit the line.
And just over 300 feet, this par 3 sets up nicely for the distance that Paige and Catrina have. It's all about getting it low enough to cut in underneath these branches and sneak under the trees to be right there inside circle 1 for a birdie. So this is so attackable. And we see these back 9 holes playing so much more difficult than the front 9. But each one of these holes is still birdieable. Players can play aggressive. They can get birdies on these. And leading up to this point, the best we've seen out of this back 9 is a 3 under. And that's all sorts of ways. Lots of birdies, lots of bogeys, or just stringing up birdies and pars.
Pierce, this is a miss to the left. Flirting with that OB line there.
Oh my gosh. That was as close as it could get. We'll have to take a look at the line because that will be the mark of the out of bounds. We know the tall grass is out of bounds, but there is an OB line.
Heather struggled a little bit with this hole this weekend.
You got to imagine why. Lefty route is throwing over out of bounds the entire way. So you got to make sure you have enough height to get over the tall grass on the left-hand side. She's choosing to go over the fairway the entire way, going the straight route, and she's right there inside the circle. Not a problem for her today.
That's the best drive we've seen out of her all weekend. She got that down. As you mentioned, you just got to play it down the left side. Play it over OB most of the way. Hokom going big swing. Got to get under the branch. Hey there, Heather. I'll sit right next to you. Big moment here for Catrina.
Needs to get this underneath the basket. We know Paige is so far outside for her birdie look. And even a par will do it. But there's a park job for Catrina.
When you needed it. Putting it back on the dance floor. Paige Pierce off quickly ahead of the group walking, marching up to see what's happened to her disc. But the other 3 competitors inside circle 1 looking for birdies on 14.
we know Paige has to run this. So the story isn't written just yet, but we know Kat is going to make this an easy birdie. Paige is inside circle 2. As long as she's safe and in bounds, she will be putting for her birdie as well.
Are you comfortable here pushing if you're Catrina 3 and 3? Or do you think this is a hole where you have to take a stroke?
Well, I think Catrina did all the work she needed to do. I mean, it sets herself up right underneath the basket. And especially after seeing Paige first on the tee, throwing nearly out of bounds, knowing that she has to make a big putt, Catrina did exactly what she needed.
I think that's going to be OB. We'll wait for UDIS to update. Terry Miller's looking. We'll get you his thoughts soon.
There we go. Just get confirmation from her group.
Oh, she's in.
She is in bounds. But she was touching the line, so that is as close as it gets.
Too close for comfort. Now, what's the line to the pin? That's the big question. There's 3 big trees with branches that create a low ceiling. Hitting cage. So hard to commit to the height on that line there.
So now all of a sudden, momentum goes back in Catrina's favor. It will be 5 strokes with 4 holes to play.
This will be the single nerviest putt of Catrina Allen's entire tournament coming up in a moment. But first, Sarah Hokom trying to get back to 8 under par. Hangs that one in the right side. Back to even for the day for Hokom.
Heather Young tied with Hailey King. This putt right here could give her a 1-stroke advantage.
Heather Young's found another birdie, just slowly working her way further under par. That's 4 under and a clean sheet.
There we go. Got Catrina Allen stepping up for this putt. And right in the heart, not taking much time, not allowing those negative thoughts to creep in. That's a birdie for Catrina, taking 1 stroke back from Paige.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous for Catrina right there with that Circle 1X putt, but once again, just proving at every turn. She's been progressively challenged more and more and more throughout this weekend, but the putter's holding firm.
Yes, it is. And, you know, that last stroke that she gave up to Paige, the last 2 strokes she gave up to her, it came down to her drive. And we know that's something that she relies on so much. She's so confident in her drive. So just making a slight adjustment there on the tee pad and parking the basket kind of got her back in line, something she's more comfortable with adjusting rather than adjusting on the putting green.
5 strokes and 3 holes erased by that birdie there. Let's check in with Terry Miller.
Welcome back, everyone. Terry Miller checking in from the green here, and I want to talk a little bit about the tone and the demeanor that I'm feeling out here. Blood in the water, I think, is a phrase that could get thrown around here. Paige Pierce knows exactly where she is. She knows exactly what's going on, and she is continuing to make that charge. Now, clearly, she just gave the stroke up to Catrina here. She felt a sense of relief. Obviously, when she walked up to her lie, she wasn't sure if it was in bounds or not. So when she got up here, she was certainly relieved. And I got to tell you, I thought she was going to make the putt, and I know she thought she was going to make the putt, but instead she gives the stroke back to Catrina. I don't think this is going to necessarily thwart her momentum whatsoever. She is very driven. She's been talking to her caddy, Paul. She's been talking about the procedures, what she's going to be doing, and how aggressive she's going to be playing this out. The real question for me is Catrina feeling that pressure? Catrina knows she has a sizable lead. She's been playing very well all week. Out here, it doesn't seem like she's had really any significant problems. So it's just a matter of, does she feel the pressure, or does she know she's still in a good, comfortable position? I'll say it again. If there's one woman that's going to chase down somebody out in the lead, it seems to be Paige Pierce year in and year out. She's got that focus, and we're going to continue to see how this par 4 plays out to see if there's any more movement. Let's get back to the action.
Now, hole 15 is what they're going to deal with. We're looking ahead here. Going to find a lie. Looks like it's for Hailey King. This par 4 is probably the most difficult of the remaining 4 holes, I'd say. Let's see what UDisc says about it while we watch Hailey try to get up towards the pin. In fact, it is hole 15 playing the furthest over par, over a half stroke. The par 4 is playing an average to the field of 4.63. Two birdies today, though. Shout out to Emily Beach and Missy Gannon for getting the 3 on this hole. As we watch Vanessa Van Dyken just past the elbow of the corner.
Yeah, it requires 2 very accurate shots. One to get you to that corner, and then that second shot we just saw Vanessa Van Dyken take to approach the basket.
Well, since that double bogey on 8, Van Dyken's 4 down through her last 6 holes, so she's got her round turned around. Sitting tied for 7th right now. Heather Young's on the tee. There's a good spot there for the lefty.
Great distance. Around 300 feet to get to that corner, to get to that placement area. And that'll put you in a good line for your second shot. It'll at least give you a visual of the basket from there, making it a little easier to choose your line. So that is step 1 for these players.
Hokom, big unwinding sidearm there. As long as the players don't challenge the left side OB too much. It's the big challenge off the tee on this one. A little bit low. But again, only 2 birdies on this hole today for the field.
From there, at best, Catrina could take a par. Right now, door is wide open again for Paige. She has the distance to cut inside of that corner just a little bit. The shot needs to be straight and past the opening if you're going to miscue it. She cannot saw this off. If you saw it off, we've got the left-hand side woods out of bounds. Paige far out to the right-hand side, and that's going long.
Oh, did she go out of bounds long? Or is she going to be safe back there?
She should be safe. it is the boundary line of these backyards that comes into play. So I'm imagining it's a 90-degree corner. So probably 350 feet, 380 feet to get to that out of bounds long. So I'm expecting her to be safe.
Ahead on the green. Here's Fajkus.
Fun stat to note, Lisa just carded her first birdie in 10 holes on the very last hole, hole 14.
Oh, she's going to give it back, though. That was for bogey. Hole 15 going to take a tax on Lisa Fajkus' round. Van Dyken for par. Sorry, Vanessa. Catrina's going to get the corner. Vanessa did make that putt.
So Catrina around the corner, but still a lot of work to do to get up to the basket. That shot down this tunnel is very challenging. We've got low ceiling. We've got OB on the left-hand side. So it's still not a gimme par by any means. And this third shot will tell the story for the rest of the hole.
It's a bogey there for King. Hailey King only has 1 par on the back 9. 3 birdies, 2 bogeys since the 10th.
Like up and down for Hailey King through this weekend. But she's had so many birdies. Heather Young, on the other hand, just smooth and steady, taking the birdies when she has those opportunities.
Yeah, Hailey King, first in the field, birdie percentage. Giving herself so many opportunities, just giving some of them back. That's a little high from Heather. Still won't be much north of 200 feet into the pin from there.
Yeah, Hailey had 11 birdies in yesterday's round. But she had those double bogeys, which I think she had 3 of them. So that erased quite a few strokes.
I mean, think about that. Even as good as Paige Pierce is playing today, she has 9 birdies and an eagle. Excuse me, 8 birdies and an eagle. To get to the 10 under mark. So 11 individual birdies on Hailey King's scorecard. That's, she's got a line for every hole. Just all about execution. Here's Hokom. She may be just good enough here to get aggressive if she wants it. It's got to be a long, forced over Annie. Didn't quite get enough turnover on that. I think she's going to be blocked off.
Yeah, difficult putt from over there. She's going to have so many of those tree branches in her way. It's a little more open on the left-hand side of the green.
We're just going to go find a new place. We have never been here
This is the OB line
on this course.
Okay.
So Paige Pierce has found herself back here past the corner. You can see it's going to go to the right out of that gap.
For her, she steps up to her lie. All right, not bad. You know, kind of talking herself back into it. And I mean, so fortunate to land in this opening here between the bushes.
Right. A little smack talk there. I like it. Paige Pierce. This rivalry is not new, folks. It's been brewing for a long time.
But knows the scenario, and I think that's the most important thing. When you're hunting down a leader, you have to know what the strategy is, and smart play from Paige just to lay out to the opening. Now putting the pressure on Catrina, and look at how blocked off this shot is. Playing the safe route. Very strategic.
Yeah, Paige Pierce being proven right. Can't get up and down, she said. Catrina says, okay, I don't need to. We'll see who's right.
If everything were as it seems, we wouldn't need to finish this round. But let's see if Paige can make this happen. Gonna require a nice lofty turnover. Oh, and pins it. Great shot from Paige.
She did what she wanted to do there. Got it in close for the 4. It's going to be 3 bogeys in the last 5 holes for Catrina. She's going to use all of that runway she's built to try to take off with this victory.
So just over those logs, that is where the out of bounds is. Heather Young was safe.
Surprised Heather not moving out. She could take up to a meter here. I think she's got a little more room off of that OB line if she wanted it.
Yeah, it looked like she needed it.
Maybe not. Inside circle. Certainly could have had a more comfortable lie there.
So there we go. We've got Catrina Allen walking up. This will be her 4th throw. An easy upshot here, but you can't take this for granted. She's going to be giving up a stroke to Paige. Paige is sitting there underneath the basket for par. Oh my.
Definitely further out than Paige here. Gonna put just a little more pressure on the putter.
Okay, not as bad as I thought. I actually thought that skipped up. There are some guardian trees just past the basket. Can make a wall between you and the basket. So Catrina's not bad at all. She's going to have those trees maybe to deal with, but take a straddle. You can take those completely out of play. Meanwhile, Sarah Hokom has a few trees in her way.
Yeah, there's a little local gap here. She'll be able to lay up in.
But wow, yeah, no look at the basket whatsoever.
Yeah, she'll concede there.
Inside the circle, but not a chance to make that putt.
Par still beats most of the field on this hole. Heather Young, the par putt has not let her down yet.
So solid. Continuing that bogey-free streak. Just her and Paige are the only players so far without a bogey. Lisa Fajkus was on that track as well, but did end up getting the double bogey here on 15. Catrina Allen in there for her bogey.
Paige is applying maximum pressure here, and Catrina is just not relenting. The patience to concede the stroke. This is impressive. Especially when you look at the leaderboard and see that, oh man, she's got me by 7. Ten down through 15 holes. Catrina, 3 down is what she shot the first day, so she's still on track to not have the worst scoring round of her tournament. And I think that as long as she can accomplish that goal, she walks it in. 1 birdie may be enough to do it here.
And that, I mean, it's incredible to see the charge that Paige has done throughout the round to make up 7 strokes up to this point. Still have a few holes to play. Can't imagine Catrina is very happy with this, how this round is finishing out, but who cares if you win the tournament at the end of the day? You won regardless. So she's doing everything she needs to do to keep that lead with just a few holes to play. Here's hole 16, 352 feet. And this is a tough one. Requires such accuracy on a flip-up drive as it fades to the right for this putting green. Slightly on a slope, so if you don't hit the line just right, you could be down in the valley far right and just playing the pitch-up shot. Paige Pierce, she needs to park this hole to stay in contention. 4 holes back, 3 holes to play. But first, Heather Young takes the tee box.
Getting right to Circle's Edge, a place she's become very familiar with today. All of the remaining holes, I should say none of the remaining holes are playing under par. 16 and 17 playing slightly over, 18 playing dead even to par today. No gimmies.
Sarah has a good chance to park this with the sidearm. She's able to get full out distance on this. Flips it over.
Oh, a good redirect.
Needing a little bit more distance, though. That tree kind of stalled her out. Middle of the fairway.
Seen her a couple times really try to juice those forehands, get a little kicked over on them. Pierce, 4 back.
With the pressure ramped up so high, Paige needs to reset here. Get that focus back on point because this requires everything. She has to set herself up for a birdie on this hole. And the pressure is on.
I mean, that shot still fought through and is sitting just outside the circle. How many trees is she going to throw through this weekend? They just can't stop her.
That's what power gets you, Jamie.
See what Catrina's got.
Oh, this is nice.
This could be so close to a icing on the cake type shot right there from Catrina. Last little bush to beat. Paige in slightly better position here. Catrina with another decision to make.
Wow. And so funny to see, Catrina going back for her bag, looking very calm as she's walking off the tee pad. And Paige is 150 feet already up the fairway. So she is on a charge. She's using that energy. And she knows that she has to make this circle putt to get a stroke on Catrina. So there we go. The Young and King battle. The Young 3 strokes advantage over Hailey King. Struggling a bit in these last 4 holes.
Yeah, missed a circle 1X putt for par on the 16th. Gives her back-to-back bogeys. Things are starting to settle out. But it's not done yet. Hokom, a few weeks ago at Deglow, she rang up some big ones. Does she have one in her today?
Finishing it with a kick, but not quite as far as she needed it to fly. Cat down here on the right-hand side.
Yeah, there's no run here. This is going to be a layup. Good move. Puts the ball back in Paige's court. With her tournament life on the line. She's got 35 feet with nothing but roll away behind the basket.
Paige just making sure she's not distracting the players that could be on the tee pad of 18 and vice versa. Not letting those players distract this very crucial putt.
I think you had it right the first time because I know she's going to yell. There's going to be a cheer going out if she makes this putt here.
And one thing here, first time we're seeing a scoreboard out following this group. So the players know exactly where they are. Paige knows she's 4 strokes back and needs this birdie and gets it. Beautiful putt from Paige. 3 strokes back, 2 holes to play.
She's been pin high on the par 4 ahead. Hasn't really been an eagle position, pin high, but you never know. Paige may try to put it in just that extra gear here.
Man. You know, you hear some players, we know Heather Young, I think it was last weekend, she was so far behind, and even this weekend, so far behind, oh, this person's already won the tournament. But that is not what Paige Pierce ever thinks. There is never a score separation that she can't match, and she is proving that today. 11 under for today's round, besting the hot score by 2 with 2 holes to play. We know that Paige has birdied the last 2 holes before, so we'll see if she can do it again.
A Herculean effort by Paige Pierce. See this one more time. We've waited all weekend for her to get putts from this range. We'll say that 25 to 45 foot range online. Just steps, holds it, collects it.
Wow. So, Paige Pierce, we know that she's birdied the last 2 holes in rounds before. If Catrina can just par the next 2 holes, she wins the tournament. If she takes a bogey, they tie. So still a lot can happen with these 2 holes.
Don't go anywhere. The finale coming up after this commercial break on the Disc Golf Network.
Huh. What color's your disc? How?
It's green. So. Whatever. I'll get another one. Okay.
actually getting to help design a disc the way that you want it to fly is, you know, I feel like I'm on top of the world. With the FX, it fits a spot in between the F and the H. I wanted something that was torque resistant and it had a little bit of finish on the end. It's a very usable disc all around.
Welcome back, everybody. Here's the chase card on 17. Lisa Fajkus throwing to the green. A little high inside there. She knows it.
During that commercial break, we're just running the hundreds of scenarios that could happen on hole 17. Very treacherous hole. Not only off the tee, do you have to land inbounds and make the Mando, but that second shot as you approach the green on the hillside with the basket is surrounded by the woods and can make those putts very difficult. Whew.
I mean, what's the scenario? This is a par 4. We've seen Paige Pierce drive pin high. It does leave her 80 or so, 90-ish feet out left. Is there a scenario where she can kind of approach this area where Hailey King is and maybe have a close run at it? I mean, obviously a dangerous run.
Yeah, and I think birdie is the best player should be doing on this hole. That drive that Paige has to throw to get to the perfect positioning to look at the basket is very, very difficult. If she doesn't hit the right line, she could go out of bounds, which would end up, she would be getting a par. She needs to birdie. We know Catrina is likely to throw a nice, easy shot off the tee pad just to put her in a safe position. Par at this point could win her the tournament. But it looks like trying to keep those negative thoughts out of her mind, kind of looking very casual there. Back to juggling the golf balls as we saw in the last round. Working on her juggling skills.
Yeah, there's no need to think about it. She knows what she needs to do. Just keep your mind from going to the places that every golfer's mind could go in situations like this.
Exactly. Sometimes it could be those quiet moments and the scenarios start to run in Catrina's mind. This is going to be a very scary drive. And I have no doubt that these players are going to be nervous stepping on the tee. Let's see if they can lean into those nerves and hit the shots that they need to. Catrina has been just playing so well this entire weekend. We know Paige is hunting her down right now, but Kat just needs to get in that mind frame. I know what I'm doing. I've got it all on point.
Here's Van Dyken on the green of 17, right at the edge of circle. Up and down kind of weekend for Vanessa. Still 2 under for the day. Ooh, Fajkus got a good lie out of that, and she's frustrated with that miss. Juggling is just becoming a popular little time killer for disc golfers. You know, James Conrad, a fan of juggling. Tristan Tanner, we've seen them on those long backups at Northwood. Haven't really had to deal with that out here at Sunset. Hailey King with a great stick.
Did you see the look on Paige's face? She's not interacting with the group right now. She is just taking some quiet time, focusing in. I mean, last year watching the World final round, Paige had this fire in her to come back, to catch up to Catrina, and she was explosive in her celebrations. Right now, she's in the hunt and kind of easing back a little bit. Quiet, focused. 2 holes to play.
Van Dyken collects her par on the 17th. Mandujano's got her birdie. And Fajkus in for par.
Yeah, these feel actually really cool. You can keep the balls in the air. If you juggle on camera, I'll give you $1. You know, I was not the person who learned this in gym class. I just wanted to.
Well, we know the green is clear, but we're going to give Heather Young her one chance to show off her juggling skills on camera. Not bad, but I'd stick to disc golf.
Look, she's better than me at juggling and putting. I've already determined this today, so multi-talented athletes out here. Playtime's over. 2 holes to go. Paige Pierce is going to have to find a gear and put down a record-setting round.
Got this flipped over. A little bit too much juice on that one. It's going to be a tight window to approach the green, but she is safe. So she is still in play for a birdie attempt on 17.
Yeah, I rolled the dice with that a little bit, trying to get it closer to the mouth of the gap. Just kind of fell out of the air on her. Heather with a good hyzer pitch to middle fairway.
Sarah Hokom's in a battle with Valerie Mandujano. They're tied in 5th place. Sarah Hokom could use a birdie.
She's going to be hanging out over there by the drop zone.
Catrina Allen, game plan here. You need to throw it inbounds. Keep it in the middle of the fairway as we've seen in the rounds previous. This is hyzering toward the out of bounds. Oh my, checks up just short. She is safe. Woo, I bet her stomach was in her throat for a second there.
Ooh, that was a scary one. The out of bounds does run away there. There's that nice ball where you can kind of throw that shot too. But Catrina Allen, just like the scorecard, using every inch of real estate, but getting the green flag. I think we have time for a quick check-in with Terry Miller, who just watched all of that from behind the tee.
Hey guys, Terry Miller checking in here on the tee of 17, and what an incredible turn of events over these last couple of tee shots. Let's go back to hole 16 a moment ago. You may have seen Paige Pierce step off of the tee. She heard a shutter off in the distance. She did step off. And then when she was walking down the fairway, she said, I didn't fully reset. She said, I felt like I was taking too much time on the tee already, so I didn't fully reset. You then saw her throw her shot. She was very frustrated with it. Little did she know that it was going to break through as far as it did and give her the putt from just outside the circle that it did. And then, as you saw, stepped up and canned the putt. The double fist pump, I think, is what we saw from her, so you know she is fired up and ready to go. And I'm going to bring us to this tee quickly and say, that is maybe the most casual I've seen Catrina in a tense moment, and Paige almost the exact opposite. Paige staying back with her caddy Paul, just away from everybody else, kind of hanging out behind everyone else. Meanwhile, I watched Catrina juggle for the first time in 10 years. So great, light, loose conversation, two very different approaches. And I'm going to say, I almost feel like the roles are reversed. We usually see Kat in a little bit more dialed and focused mode, and we usually see Paige in a little bit more of a gregarious, kind of jovial mood when she's out here on the course. So kind of a role reversal here. We're going to see how it pans out. Kat just barely getting in bounds. This is still pretty intense, even though Kat does have this nice lead with 2 holes to play. My heart's racing. Let's go get to the action.
You and me both, Terry. That is a great shot there by Heather Young. She's going to have a birdie look on the way. Sarah Hokom require a forehand, which, of course, suits her just fine.
This is tough from this angle. Sarah can't exactly see the opening, so she's just going to have to judge where it is, judge the distance, and then allow the disc to work its way to the green. Not bad. She's right there at the opening. And Terry saw exactly what we saw on the tee, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There is a rivalry between these two players. It goes back and forth, and they battle it out to the very end. Think of how many tournaments that they've been so close, battling to the end in world championships, in majors, national tournaments, and right here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. When they're both playing on fire, they're sure to battle each other, and that is a mistake from Catrina Allen. At best, Catrina can get a par.
Which may be okay in her book. Let's still see what Paige has to do.
We go 3 strokes difference. I'm expecting Catrina to be able to pitch out underneath the basket, which means Paige still has to birdie. And look at this angle. So there we go. It's either a sidearm or this step out Annie. The sidearm is not going to get her the flight she needs to get the second shot close enough to the basket. The anhyzer, if she works the angle, she could get a hyzer back. But she's choosing the sidearm.
Going to require more finesse than power. That's not going to give her the corner. We'll see what she has left of a lie. She had this similar putt from yesterday, but she was inside of the corner that we see right there, kind of trying to get the line between those trees.
We just saw her hit a massive putt on the previous hole, so it's still not out of question. But that opening is at circle 2's edge. So Paige, I believe she's just inside that. So about a 55-foot putt looking at death. If she misses it, Catrina Allen will take home the tournament. If Paige Pierce makes it, she's still in contention. But first, here's Sarah Hokom. This is her third shot. See how much focus and concentration she's taking to get this shot, and it doesn't matter. Picks up on edge and rolling so far down out of bounds. That's going to be a tough shot from there to get back up to the green.
Wow. That's the worst roll away we've seen all day.
So there we go. A little foreshadowing there of what could happen.
Hokom, she bogeys. She goes back to 7 under.
What an interesting play here. If you're ready, go for it. Paige Pierce is going to go first. This could ease the tension on Catrina's shot. Oh, God. On edge. Okay, not too bad.
Hokom's going, why didn't my disc do that?
That is such strategy there, though. I mean, when it's that close, it matters who goes first. And Catrina Allen hitting the line through the trees. And that is going to be a drop in par.
And that should do it. Not a whole lot of... I don't see any way that a 3-stroke swing happens on 18. And it's 3 strokes if Paige makes this putt.
Exactly. You know, we even put up the scenario, a birdie and an ace could send them into a tie. But even an ace on 18, that still wouldn't do it. Again, not written in stone just yet. There are some rollaways that could also happen on 18. But Catrina Allen should be feeling really confident right now.
It's got to feel so good when you play the patient game plan. And it pays off. I mean, Catrina still has 7 birdies on the day. So 4 bogeys hurt, but a lot of them were, you know, okay, I'll concede this. I'll concede that. Still have 3 strokes going into the final hole. Speaks volumes.
Heather does not need this putt. She can lay it underneath the basket and she'll take her third, but she cashes it. Nice birdie for her. She now has 3 strokes over Hailey King, who is in the clubhouse. Ended up shooting a 3 down for today's round. So Heather is solidifying that third place. Nice podium finish for her. And see if this solidifies the win for Catrina. If Paige hits this putt, I mean, anything could still happen. If she misses it, Catrina could feel pretty proud going into 18.
Solid connection there for par.
Sarah, this will be for bogey. We'll give the nod to Valerie Mandujano. They're tied at 8 under. Sarah's now going to drop to 7. Sarah's going to need a birdie to get back up into that tie. And there's the par from Catrina.
Huge sigh of relief for Catrina Allen. But remember what happened yesterday. 383 feet, you know what that means.
Paige is going to need to dial in this shot like she did yesterday, but could use about 2 inches higher to cash it in for ace. I mean, it's kind of
ridiculous.
It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, right now we're calling for Paige Pierce to ace, and Catrina has to bogey for them to go in a playoff. So not likely to happen, but it's still golf. We still got to talk about it, but otherwise, I mean, Paige has put on an incredible show to catch up that many strokes in just one round.
A record-setting performance for Paige Pierce here. Unbelievable, phenomenal, all of the accolades that you can think. I mean, the media in disc golf is going to go crazy, breaking down, dissecting this run at the title that Paige has made. But, you know, early work means you can relax late, and that's what Catrina did. She put herself in great position, back-to-back 9 under pars, showing consistency out on the course, day in and day out, over 4 rounds on a short rest week. Hats off. Hats off to both Catrina Allen and Paige Pierce today.
And sandwiching those 9s with 2 3 under rounds. So not starting off great, not ending great, but as you said, that work was done in those middle 2 rounds. Catrina gave herself the exact amount of cushion she needed for this win. 1 hole to play.
We've been talking about her all day, but how about the round that Heather Young has had? Patient, persistent golf, getting it done on the putting green.
She saved so many pars, so she is still bogey-free. Incredible round. She's at 5 under right now. This requires full out distance.
Just fade up the hill. Might be 6 by the time it's all said and done here.
Gotta ace it. She's gotta go for it right now. Oh, that is hunting. Oh my God. Giving it just about as good of a run as you can. Paige left everything out there on the course today. That is one of the biggest comebacks I have ever seen. Catrina Allen just needs to skate this in. A par will do it.
Should be very doable from there. Catrina Allen can walk easy down this 18th fairway.
It's really once that upshot is underneath the basket, she can sigh a huge sigh of relief. able to fend off Paige. Who would have thought that would be the discussion today? You know, we always want to see it happen. We always want to call for that comeback. But that was such a huge deficit to overcome.
Hokom puts a nice move on that forehand. Doesn't quite get to climb the hill there. But this is all she wrote. Certainly ended up being a closer match than I think a lot of people expected. With 11-stroke lead, down to 3. Once again, we showed the graphic earlier. Paige Pierce besting Catrina Allen in the final round of the World Championships by 9 strokes. 8 ahead of her today, but a very different scenario, obviously. You know, we can't reiterate this enough. Catrina Allen laid up in crucial spots. Just said, okay, you can have this stroke. I'll bet you can't get all 11. And that bet really paid off at times. She talked about the mental coaching and how that's helped her. I think the proof has been put on tape all weekend. Time and time again, make this putt. Don't give up this many strokes. Can you, Paige is in close for her birdie. Can you make the long par? And she just rose to the challenge each and every time.
Catrina Allen has been struggling a bit to get back on top. She was so dominant for so many years in there when her and Paige were the two that were winning most of the tournaments. It's nice to see Catrina getting her putter on point. I won't stop talking about it because that was the star. Catrina put on an incredible show this weekend.
Last win on the Disc Golf Pro Tour was 2019 at the San Francisco Open out at Glen Eagles. Last win on tour, the Delaware Disc Golf Challenge. It's been a year since she's been in the winner's circle. Paige, the putt to get to 12 under par there.
Gosh. She said she was aiming for that 10 under, but caps it off with an 11 under. Here is Catrina. There we go. It is all said and done. It's going to be a tap in par for Catrina Allen. And that is going to be tapping in for a victory.
Heather Young can get to 6 under par. She has third place outright by 3 strokes right now. Could be 4.
You can tell. Doesn't know the score. She just wants to make herself proud. Hit the birdies when she can. Taking her time. Focus on this one.
Someday, this will be for a win.
And wouldn't that be an exciting way to finish for a win?
12 Circle 1 X putts today. 12.
Wow. Leading in Circle 2 putts as well for this weekend.
In fact, Heather Young never missed out of those 12 Circle 1X attempts in the final round. How's that for handling pressure?
Beautiful. Here's Sarah Hokom to tie for 5th. She needs this birdie.
It's a great putt there. I didn't see her disc climb up the hill from the camera angle we showed.
And Sarah will end up shooting an even par for today's round. So not a great showing, but solid 5th place. And there's Paige Pierce capping off an 11 under. Incredible showcase of skill, putting the pressure on Catrina, making Catrina earn this win. Paige was not going to let her take it easy, even with 11 strokes. But congratulations to Catrina Allen.
For the 5th time, your 2020 Discraft Ledgestone Insurance Open champion, presented by Grip Equipment, Catrina Allen.
Wow. 5 Ledgestones for Catrina Allen. She has history here, folks.
Oh, okay. I was doing scores. Heather's scores are right there if you guys want to. Thank you, guys. There you go.
And I'll let
Grin says everything. We've seen her try to stay loose in these moments, and this is what it's all about at the end of the day. Being able to hoist her 5th Ledgestone Insurance Open Championship trophy.
All right, Kat, quick chat for you.
Sure.
First of all, as Nate Heinel just mentioned a moment ago, you're the 5-time champion here at Ledgestone. How does that feel?
Really awesome.
You've talked for so many years about how you enjoy coming to this event. Nate has treated the FPO division great, and you've had so much fun here, but yet so much success. What is it about this place?
I don't know. Like I said, a couple years ago, the first time it was a Disc Golf Pro Tour. Thanks a lot, Nate, for inviting all these people to my honeypot. But it was supposed to be an 8 year that I just snuck in and made some money, got out, and now it's this big, stressful, but awesome event. I don't know what it is. I just love it here. I don't know, just the, like I've talked about in an earlier interview this week, the professionalism and just how everything feels. It just, you feel like you're at a big event, and it's awesome.
Coming here this year, you've had a struggle. Everyone's had a struggle getting past Paige Pierce. She's absolutely dominated the beginning of this year, and here you came out and you led wire to wire. What was clicking for you? What was going right for you?
Like I talked about again, like I answered the same question, but just having a mental game plan. And I think this one means even more because I feel like my confidence was stolen at this tournament last year with some stuff that happened on the course that I feel shouldn't happen, but it's a big, long story. And so this one is like proof that no matter what happens, no matter who tries to tear you down, like, it might have taken me a year, but here I am, and so it just really has an extra special meaning for me this week.
Very understandable.
Yeah.
Well, you were here today and you had this big lead and you're playing with all this confidence. Were you feeling pressure?
Yes and no, but I just kept telling myself, like I said, I had this mental game plan that I'm not in control of anything except for what I'm doing, and just stay in the moment and not get ahead of myself. And I kind of felt like I made some good decisions. When you're leading, there's a lot of greens on the side of the hill, in case you didn't know. Maybe it feels like 17 of 18 that we play. So I laid up a few putts, and like I said, just kept staying in the moment and staying confident in my game.
We've got a couple of weeks off before we get to our next Pro Tour event. We're going to go to the beautiful Green Mountain Championships in Vermont, which I'm sure everyone's looking forward to. How will you make sure you're mentally and physically prepped and ready to go for the next Pro Tour event?
Going to take a couple days off to enjoy it, and then back to the grind of field work, gym, all the good stuff.
Incredible performance. Congratulations. Anything you want to say to everybody?
No, just hi, Mom, and thanks to everyone who sent me messages this week. And I had an awesome birthday week, so thank you, guys.
There you go. Catrina Allen, your champion here at the Ledgestone Insurance Open. Congratulations.
Thank you. Whew, that was really hard not to just try my...
5-time Ledgestone Insurance Open champion. What a birthday present for Catrina Allen this week. What can we say about her performance that we haven't already said to this point?
I mean, to have another tournament winner, another champion coming down and having these interviews teary-eyed. So you can just tell in that interview with Terry how much this tournament meant to Catrina, and for her to be able to stand up and be confident in front of putts and to be confident on drives and stand up to all the pressure that Paige put on her all the way down to the stretch. I mean, you're just proving it to yourself that you can do it. And She's won this tournament so many times before, but she has had some pitfalls in previous years that have, you can just tell, they've stung and they've stuck with her. And it's nice to now make these positive memories back out on this course. So that was pretty cool.
Certainly. I mean, you can't help but think about what happened at Worlds last year, especially as you're looking at the last 5-6 holes of the Sunset Hills course and just remembering how it went down and the mode that Paige Pierce went into to win it. She tried to go into that mode, and I would argue she successfully did kick it into that gear with the round she put down today, but it was
Fierce mode.
Fierce mode.
It's not McBeast mode for the women's event. It's fierce mode.
Yeah.
Let's coin that one.
Yeah. Elon Musk needs to start putting that on the cars. You know, you can get insane mode, then you get fierce mode. That's like the next level when you need to go real fast on some of these fairways. But Paige Pierce doing everything in her power, giving us a show here in the booth and there at home, but Paige falling short to Catrina Allen by 3 strokes. Now, get ready. We're going to do it all over again this afternoon. The men are tackling the Lake Eureka course. Ricky Wysocki does not quite have the lead that Paige Pierce has. His is 7. They're going to tee off at 3:30 p.m. local time. We're going to go live just past the top of the hour, 3:05 p.m. Central Time. We're going to say goodbye to Val for just a little while. We're going to bring her back for the bevel breakdown after the MPO winner is crowned. We will see you all this afternoon on the Disc Golf Network.